Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tony Todd, aka Candyman Night, Living Dead, Final Destination. You're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 212. Tonight we're talking about Candyman and Night of the Living Dead Remake. I'm one of your co-hosts. We have Todd, Sam, Steven, and Joe. Boys and girl, what's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Missed Outfire too. Guest starring.
Yes.
Football came. Football's gone. Super Bowl's 2 weeks from now. People are upset. People are happy, depending on who you talk to. You got Bengals versus the freaking Rams. So who you guys got?
I'm gonna go Rams this year, because I prefer the Bengals to win. So I figure it's more of a win-win if it's like a consolation prize if the Rams win. So I get to give you guys some shitty movie.
I'm gonna go with the Rams.
I got 2 Rams. I'm going Bengals due to geographical location.
I'll jump on the Bengals train with you then, Todd, just to even it up. Because I was saying off the air, I really feel like this Super Bowl could go either way this year.
Mm-hmm.
I am sort of rooting for Matthew Stafford though, because like he's been in the league 13 years and he had to deal with the Detroit Lions for all those years. But I'll go with the Bengals because let's even it up and let's go through. I think it'd be 3 years in a row for me and Todd. So
Yeah. And
so let's go Bengals.
Yeah, for sure.
For the listeners who are newer or didn't listen in the last few years, so we do a Super Bowl bet every year where the winners get to choose like the worst horror movie and force the losers to watch it and then review it on a What Watch like a couple weeks later. So that's what we're doing, and let's see what happens. I'm 0-2, but Kansas City was the team that fucked me the last 2 years, once because I bet with them and once because I bet with against them, so they're not there to mess me up. So hopefully works out better this year.
I think Bengals got all the momentum. I think they're going to take it. They're the road team, Road Warriors. They beat the number 1 and 2 seeds, and they beat Mahomes because Mahomes didn't suck it. So
Come on, Todd.
Bengals. Mahomes is a little turd. He sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Come on.
Hey, we're going to go a wheel route on this play, guys.
Get it, Tyreek?
Hater.
We'll see what happens. I kind of agree with you, Todd, but I don't know. The Rams have been looking pretty good too there. So
they were one drop pick away from a loss, a heartbreaking. 49 dropped that. I'm like, oh no. But the interception was bad.
The Bengals were one. If Mahomes was on, I mean, that game would have been over. So, it'll be very fun. And I don't know
like that.
If we do win. Yeah, if we do win, I have no idea what I'm gonna pick. So I'm gonna have to.
I'm thinking from Justin to Kelly from American Idol.
All right. In other non-horror related news, we watched Royal Rumble this weekend, and I am completely out of the wrestling game. Like I don't really watch it anymore, except for maybe like Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, because they're like the 2 biggest wrestling events of the year. But man, it was bad. Like I don't know like what the fan base is saying about it. Like, but Steve, I know you're kind of a little more into it than I am.
Well, I don't really watch it much anymore. The people that I see on Twitter, they don't. It's like they're not happy, but they watch it. So, it's never going to change. It is what it is.
Who's the star right now? Is it still John Cena, or is he more?
No, he's gone. It's Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Yeah, they win every year.
I know Brock from UFC. That's it. I didn't know he's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler first. So he was a wrestler, went to the UFC, and then went back to wrestling.
Cool. I was really disappointed this year because usually they bring back like classic wrestlers into the Rumble, and they didn't bring like anyone back this year. Like instead they brought Johnny Knoxville and Bad Bunny.
Right.
Apparently it's like a famous rapper, but
yeah, so they're promoting Jackass. So Brock Lesnar threw a wee man through a table at a restaurant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is Jackass Forever a theater movie for you guys, or is that a comfort of your own home movie?
It would have been a theater movie if I still like had all my college buddies in the same city as I was, just because it's that kind of just, having fun like guys' night. But here, no, I'm gonna watch it all.
Yeah, agreed. I've seen every other one in the theater, but I think this one I'll just wait. But I'm excited. I'm really excited to watch it.
Those are all usually really good, so hopefully this one doesn't disappoint.
Can we also, before we get into questions, I need to hear everyone's thoughts on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer, because I have some thoughts about it. And we're going to be covering it, I know, in 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, well, I mean, what everyone think? Or should I say Halloween presents Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Halloween 2018 presents Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I turned it off about halfway because I was liking it and I didn't want to see anything else. So I was digging it. So I didn't see the what's her face from the freaking original. I just saw the memes online about it. Sally, yeah. So whatever. I think Leatherface looks cool. It actually looks like a real severed face mask. And that's all. I didn't really see much because I turned it off because I didn't want to be spoiled.
Todd, I really wish you didn't turn it off, because the last like 30 seconds made me like cringe and roll my eyes, because it's easily like the worst part of the entire trailer. So
that's the Sally stuff.
Once everyone else gives once everyone else gives their thoughts, I'll tell you what happens.
I kind of agree. I was really into it. Like when I was watching the trailer and stuff, I thought it was interesting that it takes place kind of in a small town that people want to kind of rebuild and everything, and an old Leatherface is still there stalking people. But that last 30 seconds just fucking blew it for me. It's just, I don't know. It's going to be one of those films that's like putting up a certain message, and then you have the whole. I'm so tired of the. Let's only take the first one of a franchise and make a sequel to that one. We've seen it with Halloween. We've seen it with Candyman, actually. Although that was good, it's still that same thing. It's just, okay, I'm kind of over it now. To completely disregard all the sequels. Whatever. I don't know. I'll still watch it, of course. It's free. So there's that part of me that's like, it doesn't matter really what the trailer makes me feel, because I'll watch it regardless. I don't have to pay for it. So I'm still excited to see it, but my expectations, not that they were high to begin with, to be honest, but they're, I guess, lowered right now.
I'm holding out. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if I will.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, so in like the last 30 seconds, Todd, basically Leatherface is on like a party bus, and like every single person on the party bus pulls out their cell phones and starts recording him. And I believe the character says, "We're gonna cancel you," or something like that, and then Leatherface lunges at them, and I was like, no, the digital age is like ruining our movies.
That's kind of like Scream 5, which I can't wait to talk about.
Yeah,
the pretentious horror fans. That sucks.
So yeah, it's just like after watching it, I'm like, man, like new horror's like starting to make me cringe, just because like I understand like that is kind of what is happening with like today's society and stuff, but like in a movie, it's just like, I don't know, like I just roll my eyes, because like I agree, Todd, I was enjoying that trailer up until that point, and then like when I saw that, I was like, oh fuck no.
maybe we're the ones getting passed up. Maybe we're the old ones.
That's what I was thinking. This is probably what our parents were thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say it is. I think it is that, because I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I liked it, but I was old watching it. Like a lot of it was so like just very online, social media, like just very stupid teen things that I'm like, are you joking? But I'm like, no, that's how teens are these days. Not that we weren't stupid, but I'm like, they're stupid. So I think we're getting old, guys.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point.
Yeah, I remember thinking when I was young, I'm going to be like the hip old guy, I'm going to be into all the things and everything. But I'm like, I don't understand the music anymore. I don't understand TikTok. I don't understand these movies.
like mumble rap?
I know. Or like auto-tune or whatever the fuck they listen to. I just, like, I guess I'm that old guy now, that just doesn't get it and listens to Queen and watches fucking, old movies. And I guess that's where we all end up, right?
In my day, killers killed you for having sex.
Right, exactly.
You had a cell phone.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I didn't care who you voted for. He died anyway.
Right.
I still think the look looks cool, regardless of from what I saw. I thought it looked cool, but that's maybe it'd be a funny scene. Maybe it's poking fun of those people. We're gonna cancel you, and then he murders the entire bus. That could be cool.
I think that's what they're doing. Actually, it's like this is Texas, so we're killing you. But we'll see. I'm still curious about the movie.
What do you think? I don't know if it was Steve that mentioned it, but someone said that there's like a message behind it. What do you think the message is?
I think it's going to be kind of counter. Like how do I put this? It's going to be like against woke culture, I guess, because it's a Texas killer. It's going to be kind of like what was that movie we watched last year? The Purge. It's like the different side of it, I guess, the U.S. So it's going to be killing.
So you think Leatherface is going after?
I don't think Leatherface is necessarily. I think he'll just fucking kill anyone. I think the movie is going to present itself as we're bringing a ton of students, hippies into Texas, and this is what happens when you do that. So, but we'll see.
Has anyone seen this director's other film, Tejano?
No.
That's the only other credit he has.
Nope.
I don't think it's horrible.
Well, I know that. I believe this is like I think they had another director, and then they brought this guy. This production was like cursed too. Like it went through a lot of script changes and directors and shit like that. So that's never a good sign either. But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Do we know why things kept getting switched up during the process of making this movie?
From what I understand, it was creative differences.
So someone probably wanted to be hardcore.
Like that's why the first director left.
Wasn't it Fede Alvarez at one point supposed to do it?
He's still attached. He's producing this one.
Okay. This director was a cinematographer for Bloodfest, which is decent.
Yeah, not bad. That one was all right. We
Bloodfest.
interviewed the
Which
director,
one's Bloodfest
actually.
again?
It's
Bloodfest
not
was
Hellfest. The other
not
one.
Hellfest.
Is it the Rooster Teeth one?
Rooster Teeth.
The one with the. Okay, you guys don't know what Rooster. Let me check.
What's a Rooster Tooth? Is that a
Rooster Teeth is a
slang?
really famous gaming website.
Oh, probably not. Bloodfest was the more low budge one.
Yeah, no, it is the Rooster Teeth produced one.
Oh, okay.
It's still silly though. After nearly 50 years of hiding, this fucker's old, man. Leatherface.
Yeah, just like Michael.
I know, man. Chainsaw's heavy. This guy's still lugging around after teens 50 years later. I don't know.
I mean, are you should we be upset that they're completely ripping off like Halloween, or is it just like they just saw the success of Halloween, so they're like, let's try it?
I think it's just like the trend right now. These things always come in trends. Like, oh, they're making a lot of money because they're bringing back, a character from 50 years ago. So let's do it.
This character doesn't have the longevity as Laurie Strode.
Well, that's the thing, right? You're like, I don't know, outside of hardcore horror fans, I don't know if a ton of people are going to go to
Marilyn Burns passed away a while ago. Anyway.
Exactly. So.
Right. Yeah. That I that's why I'm like, why even bring back Sally? Like, yeah, if it was the original actress, that would have been cool. But like at this point, it's like, would she come back? Like she only had that one run-in with him. Like Laurie, it makes sense. Well, actually, with Halloween 2018, I guess because we're like bringing it back. So I guess like why would Laurie? I guess it's
they kind of shoehorned Laurie's in. I've been pissed for 40 years, ruining her arc.
Right.
I
wonder what they'll do with Sally. I feel like Sally's just gonna come back. Like someone's just gonna be like, "We need your help." Like,
why?
I don't. Yeah, right.
Why?
Well, that's the thing. She says she's been waiting for this for 50 years.
Just chilling.
Yeah, just waiting in her fucking RV for for 50 years for Leatherface to pop up again. I don't know. It's so stupid. But I guess we'll see what happens. At least
this guy's been surviving off human meat for 50 years.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And yeah, and is it just going to be Leatherface, or are we going to have like other family members too here? Because like,
I think we saw the family in
that
that trailer.
We saw someone in the family.
Did we?
At the house.
Isn't Bill Moseley coming back in this one? I thought I saw him as like a cameo.
Is he?
I thought so. Maybe not. Bring back Chop Top.
Yeah. See, that would be something that people would be excited.
That would be cool.
Why not?
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, might as well, because like there's no sort of like the family like changes every single movie. So like, what does it matter really if you bring him back or not?
Yeah, exactly. I don't see Bill Moseley in here at all.
Could be a surprise though.
It could be. Yeah. All right. You guys ready for the questions?
Sure.
But yes, but let's not forget did we mention our interview with Tony Todd
we
yet?
should. We probably should mention.
Yeah. Kind of a big deal. Yeah, make sure you stick around for the end of the episode because Steve and I had the pleasure of interviewing horror legend Tony Todd, which is the whole reason we're even doing this episode. So yeah, I mean, it was just an honor to talk to him, and yeah, I mean, we discussed mainly all Candyman and Night of the Living Dead 1990, which are the two movies we're doing tonight. But we also talked one of his newest movies he's promoting, which was Stoker Hills, and we also talked very briefly about Final Destination as well. So stick around at the end, and you'll hear it all.
Very good. Here's a bright spot, not to kick the dead horse here on Texas Chainsaw, but the writer wrote the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe. So a couple good movies.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the trailer just isn't well made. Who knows? It's happened before. We'll see. But we'll review it as soon at sometime this month. So it should be pretty exciting. All right. So you can ask us those questions on social media at the Horror Squad Podcast, or you can go on our Discord. On our Discord right now, we have a movie club, and we have now picked our very first movie that we're going to review in February. There will be a live stream at the end of the month, or a hangout rather than a live stream at the end of the month, so we can all discuss the same film. And the winner for the first vote was a movie called The House, which is a 2022 film over on Netflix. It's a fantasy, dark comedy, horror animated film that just came out recently. So very curious what that movie is going to be about and see what happens. So it should be cool. I personally like really animated horror stuff. There's not a lot of it. I talked about it when we did Paranorman, like in October, I think. So I'm pretty psyched, and it's something that none of us has seen, so there's no nostalgia attached to it, so it could be like a pure discussion of just something we all watched for the first time. So I'm psyched about it.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited to check it out too. Is that adult based, or is it like kind of more kiddish?
Honestly,
well?
I don't know anything about it, so yeah. I just
what's the name of it again? Sorry, The House.
The House. Yeah. So, I mean,
I know it's an anthology, so that's
it's an anthology. It looks like to be like mice or rats or something that are the characters. Maybe not all of them. I don't know. It looks interesting. It kind of has that I guess Paranorman feel. The way the characters are kind of like surreal looking a little bit, and guess we'll see. So if you want to join in that discussion, just join our Discord, and at the end of the month there will be a hangout on Zoom where everyone can discuss it. All right, so the first question comes to us from Chuck. These are audio questions because Chuck loves to send the audio, and we really appreciate when he sends them. So Chuck, what is your first question?
Thank you, Steve, for that lovely introduction. Hey, squad, couple questions for you. First question, do you think the abundance of streaming services is hurting good shows and movies because not everybody can access them all?
I would say hurting, but not for that reason. I would say because there's too much and I can't keep up with what's hot. And you got Hulu and you got everything, right? Like the Halo shows coming on Paramount of all things. It's like, gosh dang, I have to subscribe to something else.
I would say helping. I'm going to go the opposite route here. I think more content, the better. And all these networks are vying for people to subscribe to their services. So they're all going after these big stuff. So like, obviously people will subscribe to Paramount Plus now because they got Halo. And honestly, the trailer kind of reminded me of Starship Troopers. So I'm excited for it. Yeah, I mean, and then there's shows like most people have never seen before that are amazing. Like Servant being one of them. Like Sam and I are big fans of that show, and it's on Apple Plus, and I don't think like anyone I even know has seen it besides Sam and I. So yeah, I mean, it's a shame that more people can't get them, but I think it's helping because like it just creates more competition.
I would say I think it's hurting for the reason that Todd said. There's just too much to keep up with. And then also, I'm not trying to subscribe to 10 different service providers. Like, I'm not even going to tell, do we have Apple TV? I don't know. I'm not telling you. But do we watch Servant? I mean, yeah. And it's like, just think of all the other people that are like, I can't afford that. So I'm going to try to find it wherever I can, or just not even watch anything.
Adds up super fast, man. Super
It does.
fast.
It's ridiculous. It's like you just realistically you don't need more than 2 different services, I think. But
I think
even
one I would,
too much.
yeah, I think one I permanently would keep would probably be Prime, just because I mean you got the shipping privileges, plus they have a good lineup. I turned off Netflix months ago because it was one of those things that just sat, not watching anything. I think the only ones I have currently are Shudder because I paid for the year, Prime, and HBO Max. But I'm gonna turn that off soon after Peacemaker's done. So.
What about Disney?
Oh yeah, I have Disney, but that's through like the cell phone
Okay.
bonus thing.
Will you re-up for Shudder, Todd? Like, just
Yeah,
curious.
I mean
like,
it's $50 a year,
yeah.
so I pay it once and I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Alright.
keep doing that.
See that? I mean, that doesn't. I don't know. I guess if you're like, if it's like you three, you guys watch so many horror movies that's worth it. But I don't know. I have Hulu through Sprint, and then I just pay for Netflix, and then thankfully someone let me use their Disney account. But I don't really use that because I feel bad for using it. So I watch YouTube the most, honestly.
Do you have YouTube TV, Sam, or just like normal videos?
No, just normal videos.
Yeah, see, I pay for all these services and I watch Tubi if I can most of the time, which is free. I agree with Joe on this one. I think it's a good thing. Had it not been for these subscription services, these studios would not be making a lot of the projects that we're seeing today. There's a reason why all of a sudden we're getting a bunch of Star Wars shows and Marvel shows and all these horror franchises are coming back, and you're seeing these kind of obscure properties suddenly getting big time shows and stuff like that. And that's a lot because those studios are now getting the revenue directly as opposed to having to go through a medium like television. So I think we're getting a lot more content because of these services that are funneling money right through the studios. So I think, in my opinion, that's a good thing. We have too much choice now. We're in a part where I can't watch everything anymore, so I kind of just pick and choose the ones I want. And you can always sub for a month and then unsub. There's no penalty for doing that for most of these services. So that's what I end up doing if I needed to. Like Paramount, for example, I'm going to get for 2 months just to watch Halo. Then I'll get rid of it, and then maybe I'll get it back another time. It's just the way it is. So I think it's a good thing because we're getting more content than we ever were before.
Yeah, it's good points. It's
Yeah,
funny.
definitely.
Off subject though, Netflix keeps sending me emails to come back, and my username was Daddy. So all they say is Daddy, come back. I'm like, it's fucking
That's
weird,
nice.
Netflix. Like,
Oh my
Nice.
God.
come back, Daddy.
Yeah, I think it's also like, sorry, I think it also like lets like studios take more risks too. Like for sure. Like I don't think Servant ever would have gotten like a chance prior to this. And yeah, I mean it's good. Like being able to like take risks and put out shows that probably never would have seen the light of day. It's good.
On the flip side, for movies, it's one thing, but for TV shows, because there's so much content, unless the show does really well, they cut it like right away. And you get attached to all these fucking shows. And then all of a sudden on a cliffhanger, you're like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. And that really fucking sucks. So when it was on television, they usually give them like a year's notice. Okay, we're probably planning to cut you guys, or, so now that's something that kind of sucks. I've had a lot of shows that I watched and then all of a sudden it was over on a cliffhanger and I'll never know what ends up happening. And that's a bummer, but that's more of a nitpick than I guess an actual reason for or against services. Chuck, what is your second question?
What is your favorite Tony Todd performance that isn't one of the 2 movies being reviewed tonight?
I don't think I've actually seen any of his other work. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm sure you have. He pops up in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you have
242 different
Final
projects.
Destination. What else is
Final
there?
Destination. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's got that voice. Man. The fucking voice kills it.
Right.
He was
He's
in
done like-
Hatchet. He was a voodoo guy. Voodoo whatever.
I don't know if I've seen Hatchet.
Hatchet. I think he liked the first. I think he would like number 1.
Mhm.
I've said it again. I said it before. I'm going to X-Files season 1. He plays
Oh yeah.
a veteran from Vietnam where they were trying like a anti-sleep drug so they can stay up and fight longer. but it ended up like permanently altering his state, so he was up permanently, and he's a really good actor. He's a really good series actor too. So I forget what the episode was titled, but Vietnam vet Tony Todd, X-Files.
Yeah, I mean, I think his best performance obviously is his best two performances might even be from what we're doing tonight. But off the cuff, I'm gonna go one of his early performances because I am a big fan of the movie Lean On Me, and he plays Morgan Freeman's like right hand man in that. He's like top security guard in that, and I always enjoyed that performance, albeit maybe not a big performance for him, but I think a really good performance. He just doesn't do horror, Steve.
No, he doesn't do that much horror. So yeah, so it's funny. I was looking at his filmography, and he's been in a lot of stuff, but he doesn't stand out in a lot of stuff. Like he's there, he does a good job of it, but like
Right.
and that's kind of, like he's in The Rock. I love The Rock, but he doesn't have a big role. He's in Platoon. He's in a tons of stuff, but as far as something
Platoon.
as far as stuff that really like stands out, there isn't much outside of Candyman and Night of the Living Dead. So I kind of struggled a little bit with it, but I'm going to pick him in The Crow. I think he doesn't play that big of a role in The Crow, but I think what he does is actually pretty good. So that's what I'm going to go with for this question.
No, yeah, I mean, he's definitely like a character actor, you know what I mean? And he does it very well. So, and yeah, I mean, I know he's done like a lot of voice work as well, which obviously he's going to be Venom in the Spider-Man video game, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, that voice is unforgettable.
He's actually my number one actor on Letterboxd for most viewed
Oh,
films
really?
by an actor. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
It's yeah, I've seen him quite a bit apparently.
Hey, I mean, yeah, he just pops up in everything. Like the dude, he's like worked pretty steadily. Like if you go through his IMDb, like he's never like had really a lull. He's always been in something.
Mine is Samuel L. Jackson, most viewed.
Yeah. Sam Jackson's second for me. So
yeah, he's in a lot too.
Yeah, he's in a lot too. That's crazy. He's in 12 projects that are upcoming. So he works a lot.
Yeah, my stats don't really like aren't accurate because I only do horror on Letterboxd. Like I don't do anything else. So
well, mine are
maybe
only since I joined the Horror Squad. So I'm sure it'd be other actors if I counted them. But,
right.
Like I have a lot of people from what's his name? The guy we did a retrospective on. Stuart Gordon. Like he uses
Stuart
the same
Gordon,
actors a lot, and they're all like his wife is like my number 5 of most viewed because she appears like in a small role in all his films, So all right. So what is your third question?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Wow.
5 years? That's the interview question right there.
I know, right? That's like it's like
questions for me before
Miss
we end the
America
interview?
question.
What's the one with Sandra Bullock? Harsher penalties for parole violators or something like that. It's Congeniality, classic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
5 years? I don't know. Hopefully alive.
Hopefully out of this apartment and into a house. That's the goal.
I like that. Seriously though, geographic change for me and my family to another state.
How about another country? Canada's taking applications.
Oh,
are they? I would definitely not dance on a national monument like those cocksuckers. We do it here too, so.
Right.
What state do you want to move to, Todd?
I have a very soft spot for Dallas. I like the food there. It's my favorite food I've ever had is in that region. Plus, I really like the sport environment over there. They're really big on sports. So that's where we're eventually going to.
Sam, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully alive. And hopefully I have like
making out with Damien Maffei.
Yeah, that too. And hopefully I'll be able to work for myself doing Halloween Happy.
Awesome. For me, I hope that I am sitting right here in my basement recording episode 472 of our podcast.
You did the math on it?
I did.
Way to go, Steve. Make all of us look like assholes.
So start to prepare episode 500. Hopefully we can do live somehow. And so that would be where I'm hoping to be.
Welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast.
It's only 5 years.
Come on, Todd.
I'm one of your hosts.
You'll still
on,
be in your
Todd.
30s, for fuck's sake.
What's my name again? Samantha? I would love for my
What?
writing to still be doing stuff if we're gonna be say stuff about ourselves. Fun fact, my writing's done the best this month that it did all year combined last year.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know what it was, but
That's
Yeah, it's fun.
awesome.
Very nice. How's it going on book 3?
book 3 is like 85% done. Something like
Jeez,
that.
you're Stephen King in that shit. Like, God.
It's hard.
All right. So, Chuck, what is your last question?
Candy Sam. Candy Sam. Candy Sam. Candy Sam. Candy Sam. Are we thinking of honey whiskey or some other drink pairing tonight? Thank y'all. Look forward to the episode.
Oh, well, that sounds lovely. Does he really ask these questions, Steve, or are you just making it up?
No, I just make him up every week. I actually record his voice every week too. It's pretty insane. I do a mean Tennessee apparently.
I like Tennessee honey
Is it
whiskey.
food
It's
or
my
drink?
favorite drink. That's
I
my
don't
favorite
think I've ever
alcohol.
had it.
I know Todd is.
I love it, dude.
What is it?
It's just whiskey with like a honey base, whatever. So you got
Oh.
Jack Daniels as the most popular one. You got Jim Beam, things like that. But that's the only alcohol that I'll happily drink straight. Everything else I need to have like a mixer or something. But honey whiskey is super smooth.
Do you drink it at room temp or is it chilled? What is it?
If I'm like hanging out, it'll be chilled. But if I'm just walking by and I see the bottle and take a swig or something,
Oh.
But it sits at room temperature. But that makes me sound like I'm a super alcoholic. But
I know. It's like, okay.
no, room
No
temperature
judgment
mostly.
here.
All right, but with what do they say, on the rocks?
On the rocks. Alrighty. Well, let's see. So I looked up a little zombie cocktail and this is what I found. Did you guys know that actually zombie cocktails, but I don't know how they're classified, but they started back in 1934. Isn't that crazy?
Mhm. That is crazy. That's old.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. So pretty much this just includes lime juice, cranberry juice, sugar, and Joe, you'll like this, white rum, golden rum, and dark rum.
I love it. I love it.
Does it make you
Chinese
feel
food,
like a
like,
zombie?
because that's like a Chinese.
Yeah,
It's like a
knock you on
Chinese
your
drink.
ass.
Because well, every time you go to Chinese food restaurants, that's like the zombie and the mai tai and the scorpion bowl. Those are like what they have perfected, and it's always like rums. Like, I wonder like why it's just always the rums, light
Like
and dark
hot
rums.
sake?
But I mean, I had mai tais all weekend. I do like sake, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some sushi, some sake.
I enjoy. You ever had a sake bomb?
I have not.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I used to every time I used to go to the Japanese steakhouse, we would do sake bombs with the owner. But what they do is it's like a full glass of beer, a Japanese beer. I forget the name of it. I want to say Sapporo, but I'm not 100%.
Oro
on that.
sounds like it.
And then
Yeah.
they take the sake, and then they take the sake and they put the chopsticks on top of the beer glass with the shot of sake, like in between the shot glasses, and then you gotta slam your fist on the table, and the sake drops into the beer, and then you gotta like chug it. It's delicious.
Awesome. All right. So that is all the questions from Chuck. Thank you very much. We do have another audio question. This one from Asa, who is also Raining Blood 16, who actually just bought the hot sauce that we've been promoting for the last month. So he says he's going to report back as to how it is. So we're excited to hear what that's like. So Asa, what is your question?
Hey squad, this is Asa, aka Raining Blood. I just had one quick question for y'all tonight. In the movie, The Night of the Living Dead, which character do you most relate to? Who would you see yourself as in this actual movie, in this situation? That's all I had. Have a great night.
Taking it the remake, right? Cooper.
Yeah.
Here's an asshole.
No.
Let's talk in the
No.
basement. The cellar, Helen.
God.
The kid.
The kid, yeah. I guess Ben, right? Like, who else would you really relate to? Like, everyone
Yeah.
is pretty much a
Mhm.
jerk. I guess
Barbara gets good.
actually the brother. What's the I
Tom?
can't remember his name. Tom, yeah. I guess
Tom?
you can.
He's kind of an
relate to
idiot
him,
though.
too. Yeah.
It's a
I mean, I'm
shotgun at
not
a
really
gas
much
pump.
of a yeah, that is
What a
true.
moron.
But like I don't know. Yeah, that is true. I guess I wouldn't be that stupid to do that. But like I'm not really a survivalist either like Ben is, so like I don't know if I'd make as smarter decisions as him either. So I think I'm
What
a
about
mix.
Johnny? What about Johnny picking on sister?
Yeah, I did used to do that.
Barbara.
Yeah, but he's talking about like being horny and stuff. I never like talked like
Yeah.
that in front of my sister.
He's horny, Barbara.
Yeah. That was a little weird.
I mean, the only good characters in this one are Ben and Barbara. Barbara takes a little bit to get
Right.
up to speed. I guess Ben. Let's go with Benny.
Yeah, I would say Ben. I feel like I would be level-headed and make good choices and keep calm and just do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I think I'd also be Ben. It's like just a desire to help people and get like one thing that people who work with me will know is that I'm the type of guy who will like take action. You know, I like doing all the door stuff and making quick decisions. That's like one of my, I guess, strong points. So that's something I can totally relate to now. I'll talk about, you know, what Ben actually does in the movie, in the review. But yeah, I think that would be kind of how it'd be, you know, just figure something out and we'll figure it out as we go, but we got to keep moving and get things done. So
I could also see myself doing the zombie fighting ring as well, like throwing money and be like, "Oh yeah,
Right.
let's see which zombie wins."
So are you betting or are you in the ring drunk as you're?
No, I'd be the one gambling for sure.
I'd probably be the guy that told Barbara whatever she said when she's like, "We're us and they're us. We're them and they're us."
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
"Give me a break." That'd be him.
All right. So the first question, the first written question this week is from Weezerface. Zombie outbreak. Stay put or fortify one place or keep on the move looking for supplies.
I guess it
It's
just
hard.
depends.
Well,
Yeah,
you're in your apartment. What do you do?
I'd probably fortify for now, but like eventually you're gonna have to go out because you're gonna run out of supplies. You know what I mean? So for now, I guess fortify temporarily, and then once you have to, go on the move.
Are you a gun owner, Jim or Joe? I called you Jim for some reason.
Actually, I'm not, and I've been considering it more like the older I've been getting, just being like, because I don't know, the world is kind of a crazy place, and it is good like if situations do arise, because I always think to myself like if shit really did hit the fan, I'd be kind of fucked because like I don't own like a weapon or anything like that. So
Do you have an ironer? An iron?
an ironer,
Yeah,
an iron. I do have, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, Halloween Kill style, yeah. There you go. I have a
What about you,
baseball
Steve?
bat.
Sorry, what?
Are you a gun owner?
No, it's I'm in Canada. we don't do guns really other for hunting.
Are you guys allowed to? Like, what's
Yeah.
the rules?
Yeah, we can. There's some very strict background checks and all that kind of stuff. There's no handguns and shit like that. It's all like hunting rifles and stuff. You know, we just operate differently than the US, right? We don't have like an equivalent to the Second Amendment, and you know, it works for us, I guess. So I don't personally have one. I mean, my grandfather has one because he used to hunt, but yeah. As far as what I would do, it depends on the type of zombie. So if we're going on the Night of the Living Dead zombies, I think I'd stay on the move because first, just for resources, right? Fortifying one position, and they're so slow and stupid that you can survive, I think, going from house to house. I think they were just stupid in this movie, so they kind of had their house overrun. But if you just stick to certain rules, stay in attics, go into like closets and stuff like that, I don't see why you would get killed by them. So I would keep moving with these zombies. But if it's like fucking Dawn of the Dead remake zombies, then yeah, I would probably try to fortify because you go out and you're practically dead. So what about you, Sam?
I agree with Steve because he's one of the zombie experts here on the podcast.
Because I read the book by Matt Brooks.
Yeah. It's a
You
good
too?
book, though. Yeah.
It is a good book. Yeah, I love that book.
Zombie survival guide.
Yeah, I think I said it before.
I thought it was real when I first read it.
Yeah, I used to keep it in my car like as a joke. You know, when people would come in and be like, "Oh, you never know."
It's got some good tips in there, like destroy the staircases if you're on the second story, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it also gives you good tips about just general,
Preparedness
too. So it's kind of a fun way of doing preparedness.
I would personally fortify because I have kids and it would suck to run around with them. But one thing that that's consistent in all these zombie movies is other people being pricks. You got Walking Dead, different groups trying to kill people. This book I'm reading called Swan Song, after nuclear apocalypse, people just kill people just to steal their supply. So being outside is probably not the best. If you have weapons and food and water supply, I think you're pretty good. If you just lay low and hide, don't advertise that you got a gun and stuff like that. That's what drives me crazy about people. Don't brandish weapons. Keep them for their purpose, and that's it. So I got a gun for all y'all if you're coming over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeehaw.
Would you team up with strangers, or would you just be more of a loner in a situation like this?
Be a loner, man, because I wouldn't want some stranger with my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, getting supplies and stuff is,
Then you have to feed their kids too, and I wouldn't want to worry about that.
Yeah, there's that too. Hopefully we never find ourselves zombie apocalypse, but who knows? I think we're getting there.
Fuck, I'd rather have that than COVID.
Yeah.
Unless you can tell who's infected.
Right.
Unless you're hiding it like the person that always hides it in the movie.
Right. Yeah, always in the stomach, right?
How'd you get bit on the stomach underneath your overshirt?
All right. So the next question is from horror fan Ryan. If you were remaking Night of the Living Dead right now, who would you cast?
For Barbara, I'm gonna go Samara Weaving. I just think
Joe, that's what I was gonna say.
Were you? Yeah, I think she's a great choice, and just because Ready or Not vibes, I feel that's a really good role for her. And then for Ben, I was kind of torn between a couple of people, but I'm gonna go. I can never pronounce his name, but Daniel Kaluuya from
Candyman?
Get Out. Yeah, Kaluuya from
What's the gentleman's name from
Get Out.
Candyman? I always mispronounce his name.
Yeah. I just call him Yaya because I don't know how to pronounce the rest of his name. But he was actually my second choice, Todd. So I think either one of them would be a great choice. But I'll go Daniel.
I'm going Candyman because he's got that physical nature like Tony Todd does, big dude. And I was going with Samara Weaving too. So it's 3 for 3 so far. Cooper could be any prick. Just put a prick in there.
I'm also going with what Joe said and what Todd said because they each had my person.
All right. For Ben, I went with Idris Elba because I just fucking adore that guy. He's so fucking good in everything. For Barbara, I also had Samara Weaving. I just think she's fucking perfect for that role. For Tom, I went with Tom Holland because he has that innocence, kind of naive, kind of style to him. And for Harry, I went Clancy Brown. I think he plays a good villain / good guy / I just like him in everything too. So that's my pick for Harry Cooper. All right, next question, and I think this is the last question this week. Is they're from Mondo. Which one of you will take me as your survival companion?
I'll take you second, make you my slave. Make you dig trenches around my house.
There you go.
I think he did that second. He's setting me up to make fun of him. So there you go. He just called me a bitch in a text.
Yeah, he did.
I'll take him and then shoot him in the leg when I need to.
Ooh, what's his face? Walking Dead Shane.
Yeah.
His next question: grossest thing you've ever eaten? Bugs, wildlife, vegetables, etc.
I've eaten a lot of flies before on accident. I don't know why it happens, but it does. Gnats, flies. I'll be outside and I don't know. They just can fly in my mouth. I had one stuck in my throat one time and I was gagging. It was fucking gross. I had a June bug hit me in the eyeball riding a bike. That hurt.
Oh, I fucking hate June bugs.
Yeah, it's one of those thick bastards too.
Yes, their claws are sharp as hell.
And then cicadas are fucking. I haven't eaten a cicada though. But yeah, eating wise, on accident, flies and gnats.
Lamb tongue. That was definitely the grossest thing I ever ate. Did not taste good. There wasn't much. The grossest part, honestly, the tongue wasn't so bad, but it was the part, think of when you rip a tongue out and the bottom part that's just all smushy and shit. Yeah, that That was pretty gross. I did it
Just
on
ate
a
it-
bet.
You ate it like a steak?
I just
Or
like
you ate it
we
raw?
cooked it. It was in high school. It was in high school when I was working at the supermarket. Like I worked in the meat department, and like we got like an order of lamb tongue in. So we cooked it in the lobster steamer, and then like I just ate it like whole. Like I
That's
just
gross.
like
Because tongue is really
just
good in
kept
tacos.
taking bites. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, this
Yeah.
wasn't like it had no
Sam's all
seasoning or
freaked out.
anything. It was just yeah, it was disgusting.
No,
Like, and I could feel like I could feel the
The
bumps
hair.
on the tongue, like when I was
That's
biting
gross,
into
dude.
it, and the hair. Yeah.
no, the tongue is my favorite taco meat. It's cow tongue. It's called tacos de lengua.
Yeah.
It's a Mexican dish, and it's easily hands down the best meat I've ever had on taco. I will always look for tacos de lengua on the menu, and if you get it from like legit like Hispanic man or woman or whatever, it's so fucking good. Sam, it's not gross. Eat it.
I wouldn't be opposed to trying it. I wouldn't. I'd eat pretty much any type of food like once.
The only weird thing I've ever had, which I've already said on the podcast, was frog legs. And that was
Butthole.
against my will. No one eats butthole, Joe. You nasty.
Butthole. Actually, there's another Mexican dish. Have you ever had menudo? It's a soup. No, it's intestine, and it's got like corn stuff, but yeah, it's intestine, so I guess close to the butthole. But it's really good too. Mexicans got some Mexican food's so good.
Grossest thing. Like I've eaten not cockroaches, grasshoppers and stuff like that. Like chocolate ones and candied ones at insect like museum that we had near where I grew up. But they didn't taste that bad. They're just like kind of crunchy chocolate, really. There's nothing that bad about it. So I wouldn't say it was gross like tasting. Actually, the grossest thing I ever tasted, and people are gonna kind of judge me for this because I think people eat it all the time. I even remember the day. It was December 31st, 1998, about 10 p.m. I was at a New Year's party with my new girlfriend, and there were a ton of people because I was like one of those convention halls and stuff like that, and people were partying, and someone offered me a grape. I'm like, okay, cool. So I pop it in, and nope, it was not a grape. It was an olive, and it was probably the most disgusting I've ever eaten.
First of all, who offers grapes? That's a red flag, Steve.
I don't know.
Hey, bud,
Oh my God.
Hey, bud, want a grape?
Fucking
Fucking
It
trying
could have
to.
been a boozy grape.
Seriously,
Todd.
boozy. Is that a thing? Boozy grape? That's like a
boozy
date rape thing.
cherries.
All right, don't accept
Boozy
things
cherries.
from random people. Boozy cherries.
Boozy cherries are good. I've had those.
I thought Steve was gonna reveal that it was like a goat's
An eyeball.
eyeball or
No,
something. He's
no,
like
yeah.
olive.
Olives
Olives are pretty gross.
I find
The
them
black
just-
ones.
Yeah, I hate
Love,
olives.
I love green olives, dude. Stuffed green olives,
Ugh.
cheese, garlic,
Yeah,
That
super
sounds all
gross.
right.
tongue on the side,
A little bit of butthole.
and some ass.
All right, last question of the week, and I have no the fucking idea where Mondo got this from, but here it is. Would you rather have a paper cut, cardboard cut, or metal cut?
What is wrong with him, dude? I'm gonna text him like, "Are you fucking high when you write these things?"
What the heck?
Paper cut, idiot. That's the smallest one. What's wrong with
I've
him?
had all three. I've definitely had all three. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the paper cut, metal
Paper
cuts.
cut,
are-
yeah.
yeah, pretty gnarly.
Metal, you gotta be like, damn it, I gotta get my fucking tetanus shot now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean paper cut for sure.
Zombie apocalypse, so you're fucked.
God, is that even an option?
What would Mondo want
Oh,
out
who
of all
knows?
those?
I'm gonna give him all three.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking that question,
Yeah.
bud.
You know what? He's kicked out of my zombie group. Done.
Right?
No, you gotta save him and shoot him in the leg when you need to.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. We really appreciate it. We cannot do this segment without you. And now let's bring some warmth into this conversation with some Silk City hot sauce.
Greetings, Spice fans. Silk City Hot Sauce is now sponsoring the Dorkening Podcast Network. Our craft sauces are made in Vermont in small, high-quality batches using locally sourced, farm-grown ingredients. Silk City Hot Sauce comes in a variety of heat strengths and killer flavors like Jezebel, Erotic Fever, Mango Madness, and Good Morning Jonestown. And don't forget our newest creation, Hot Syrup. Make no mistake, Spice fans, this is the queen of sweet heat. There's new and unique flavors coming out all the time. Best of all, right now, listeners of the Dorkening Podcast Network can go to silkcityhotsauce.com and use coupon code DORK. Not only will you get 20% off your order, we'll also throw in a free bottle of hot sauce. That's silkcityhotsauce.com. Coupon code DORK.
All right, what watch you guys watch?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, I've been. So the first month of 2022, I watched 62 movies.
That's nuts, dude. I'm at like 17.
What?
Yeah, not all horror, but all right. So I guess I'll start this week. I talked a little bit about this last week that I would watch it, and I ended up watching it. Part of yesterday and today. So my first movie I watched over on Amazon Prime. It is from 2007, and it is the remake of The Hitcher, which is the movie that we covered last week. So in this one, if you listen to last week's episode, it's the same exact plot because it is basically the same exact movie with minor differences. In this one, it stars Sean Bean as the killer, John, and instead of having like a guy meet a girl at a bar or whatever, a diner, and then they get together, in this one they start together from the get-go, and then they go on an adventure, and Sean Bean starts stalking them for the rest of the movie. They keep getting arrested and having confrontations with cops die left and right. It's really the same movie as the 1986 version that we reviewed last week. I gotta say, I expected really the worst because everyone says how much this one sucks. I don't think it was that bad. Like, it wasn't as good as the original for sure, but I didn't think it was that bad of a movie. I even think that this movie improved on some things from the original. First, I like that they started as a couple at the beginning of the film because like we talked about last week, I don't think when the main guy meets the girl, it just didn't make sense why she went with him. It just didn't make sense at all because she just met him and then she's putting herself in this huge danger for no reason. In this, it makes sense that they're together, so that's better, I thought. I think the pacing in this is also a little bit better. Like, it just flows a little bit better than the original, and just these little changes that they made near the end, which I don't want to spoil, that I like better. But where the movie really separates itself from the original is the antagonist. I like Sean Bean. I think he's a great actor, but in this role, he doesn't like come close to Rutger Hauer's performance, and that's where I think the original makes the original better than this one. He's not bad or anything. He just doesn't have much of a personality, and he's maybe trying too hard to be like Rutger Hauer, and it just doesn't work because Rutger Hauer has a really unique way of presenting himself. So overall, glad I watched it. We'll never probably watch it again, but I don't think it's as bad as I'd heard either. So that's The Hitcher over on Amazon Prime.
I have one, and that is Galaxy of the Dinosaurs from 1992. It is a 90s shot on VHS classic, directed by J.R. Bookwalter, who did like Dead Next Door. He's like a big 90s shot on video guy. It's basically a ripoff of Planet of the Apes. And in this one, you got astronauts, quote unquote, that crash land on a planet that is full of dinosaurs. However, they don't use their own effects. They borrow from claymation from whatever age claymation was popular. So you have them in a forest, and then it cuts to a dinosaur that's in the desert. So even my kids were like, wait, that's not even the same landscape. I'm like, I know. So we had a good time watching it. Acting is as expected. These movies were made for $1,600. And are they bad movies? Absolutely. But you can't help but see the amount of fun they had making them. And I love seeing that in low budget movies like this. You can just tell they're having a great time. Boom mics come in the shots. You're supposed to be on an alien planet and you hear a fucking plane flying by, or a dog barking, or you see a fucking Walmart outline in the back of the forest. So it's shit like that. It's just got a lot of charm, and I really dug it. It's terrible, like I said, but if you enjoy watching something that was made with love and stupidness, then Galaxy of Dinosaurs is your thing. So that's all I got.
All right. My first one tonight is a 2020 release. I decided to watch this one based on it making a couple of best of lists from last year. And this one is called Violation. So this one is about a woman and her husband, they are kind of on the ropes. It seems like their relationship is very rocky, and they go on a vacation to the woman's sister's kind of like lake house with her and her husband. And yeah, the four of them are just kind of enjoying their vacation. And the sister and the other sister's husband end up you could see they start to they have this like kind of weird close relationship, I guess you could say, and there's kind of like flirtation going on and whatnot and stuff. And one thing leads to another. They end up kissing. She regrets it and whatnot. And she ends up getting taken advantage of while she is sleeping, and is raped by this woman's husband, or her sister's husband. And the rest of the movie follows her dealing with that and eventually taking matters into her own hands. And it turns, I don't want to really give too much away, but it ends up turning into a rape revenge flick. But it's done like extremely different than any other like rape revenge movie I've seen, a la like I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left style, where this one's handled like a lot more real, like it like those other ones go like over the top crazy and whatnot. And this one does have a pretty gruesome scene, but it really, the main focus is like the grief like this woman is dealing with. I guess I could attribute it somewhat to like if A24 did like a rape revenge movie. But yeah, I actually I really enjoyed this one though. It's handled very well. The acting is superb. The cinematography is quite beautiful. And honestly, at the like by the end, it handles like the trauma of rape like very well, and it's tastefully done. And yeah, I would highly recommend this one, especially if you're into that type of genre. I don't think like it is gratuitous, like the rape scenes or anything like that. Obviously, like trigger warning for people who, that could be a trigger for you. But I think it's a really, really well done movie, and I would definitely recommend it.
Would it have made your list?
Uh, I I don't think it would have made my list, but it would have been very close. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sam?
I don't think I have anything. Did I ever talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer, that I watched it? Like, I know I mentioned it in this episode.
Remake?
The
TV show
on Prime.
I don't think you did.
I don't think did
I don't think you finished it. You mentioned it. I don't know if you did. You finish the series?
Yeah, I finished
Yeah.
it.
So I don't think you. I think you talked about like watching the first episode or two or something.
I don't remember a lot of it anymore, so maybe I shouldn't talk about it.
Was it past like watch? Nay, sucked. Did it pay homage to the originals?
No. No, and it did the thing of where, so I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I forgot that I was going to talk about this, but the girl from Goosebumps who played the sister of A Haunted Halloween. Do you remember that girl? Okay.
Nope.
Wasn't the love interest in part 2, was it?
No.
No, it was his sister.
Sister? I don't remember.
Okay, so it starred Madison Eisman, who played Sarah from Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween, who was Sunny's sister. Sunny was played by Jeremy Ray Taylor, so it was the sister. Anyways, so she was in it, but they did the thing of where she had a twin sister and she played both sisters, and I hate when I just hate it. So it was very confusing at first because it was hard to tell which one was which because they didn't do a good job like with the acting or maybe with the storytelling. I don't know. So it was kind of difficult. But yeah, there's like a twin thing involved. It's kind of cult. It deals with a cult. So nothing to do like the original movie or anything like that. It showed a lot of nudity, which I was surprised just because it's like a teen show. I mean, it kept my attention, but I don't know if I would recommend it or not. I know that doesn't help at
What
all,
service
but
is that on?
Amazon Prime.
Is this like a CW version of the
No,
story? I mean, of course, plus nudity because they
it's
don't
a
do
little
nudity.
bit more. It's a little better than CW. I will say that.
Okay.
It's just the twin thing just threw me off. I can't ride the roller coaster when it's like that. But I will say the kills were actually pretty cool. Like there was this one kill where she was like in a booby trap, and the trap like got set off by her foot, and it was like a cable wire, and it reeled her body into like this tractor thing that like raised her up, and it like cut her neck off. Some of the kills were kind of cool. It was like it was gorier than I thought it would be.
Is it kind of like the Scream TV series?
I would say it's better than the Scream TV series.
Oh, okay. And is there a fisherman?
No.
Oh, okay.
How many
No,
episodes
it's
is
like it's maybe 8.
Okay.
I mean, it's like about these two twin sisters. One is super popular and like super pretty, and everyone loves her, but she's a fucking bitch. And then the other sister is like quiet and shy. She really likes this guy, and her sister ends up sleeping with the guy that she's been in love with for a really long time. And then something happens to where I can't say because I'll spoil it, but they grew up without their mother, so we think that their mother committed suicide, but then later on we find out that their dad was a part of a cult, maybe the mom was, and you kind of learn a few of their family secrets. Yeah, that's all I can really say. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was okay. I mean, I liked it. It was just the whole when the one person plays two like a set of twins. I just don't. And especially just coming off a child's Chucky show with Devin playing twins, I was like, oh, here we go again. But yeah, if you like Pretty Little Liars, it's like more R-rated than that. Yeah.
Cool. So my second one this week. So I was looking for like more obscure Tony Todd films, and I watched a few. And to be honest, I have nothing to say about them. They all had like the same thing. Like they're all low budget. They're all really bad, but Tony Todd was good in them. So it's like, so as I'm going through these movies, I saw this recommendation on Tubi, which does not star Tony Todd. This one actually stars Ving Rhames and Taryn Manning. So it's from 2011, and it's called Zombie Apocalypse. Very standard story. Taryn Manning and two other guys are just surviving in the apocalypse. They're looking for supplies at a gas station when all of a sudden a bunch of zombies start attacking them. And then this other group come in and to try to save them and stuff, and save some of them. And then they band together to try to find a boat so they can go somewhere like on an island and survive that way. So the story is really about them trying to get to that boat and going through different encounters on the way until they reach the dock and have a pretty crazy, unexpected final encounter once they get near the boat. So I'll let you guys watch it.
Does it have a tiger in it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I've seen this one then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
So that's what it is. It's like a zombie tiger all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, fucking just did not expect it. So anyway, yeah, it's a very standard by the numbers zombie film. There's nothing special that happens in this movie. It's a story we've seen a million times before, but to be honest, it wasn't bad. It had some really good action. It had good dialogue. The banter between the characters was actually fun, and I kind of enjoyed it. Like, there's a lot to love about this story. Like, if you like zombie films, you're looking for something less mainstream, and it's just good zombie fun. It's got good zombie effects. It has like I said, good characters. the story keeps moving. Like they never stay in a place very long, so it's never boring, and I enjoyed it. My only big knock on this is the overuse of CGI, which they really didn't need. Like a lot of the headshots are CGI, and a lot of the like effects, like the blood splatter and stuff like that. That's all stuff that you can do practically for not that expensive, and that kind of took away from the movie because the makeup was great. So obviously they had a competent makeup artist, so why rely so much on CGI? That's really the only big knock I have on this film. But if still, despite all that, if you're looking for a solid obscure zombie film, Zombie Apocalypse 2011 on Tubi, I'd recommend it. I actually gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd, which is pretty high for something like this. So yeah, check it out.
All right, my last one for tonight is from 2022 release actually, and it is Stoker Hills. This is the movie that Tony came on to promote. So yeah, this one is about these student filmmakers who decide to make their own horror movie, and basically actual horror movie takes place like basically like while they're filming their own. Basically like a killer shows up, kidnaps one of the actresses, and we go on a quest to try to find her from there. All while, so with that part is shot found footage, but then we keep going back and forth between the found footage and these police detectives that are trying to solve what happened from the footage they found. So we're going, back and forth between that. Yeah, and that's basically the movie. Tony plays a brief cameo as a professor, and he's great in it. In his brief appearance in it. Overall, yeah, this one I was just not a fan of. I actually think the first 20 minutes of this movie was actually like really solid. I liked like all the stuff with like in the classroom with like Tony and the kids and stuff like that. And then like them shooting the horror movie was fun. I actually wish they did more of that. Like I wish they filmed more, like showed more of them like filming the horror movie and stuff. Because that would have been fun. But they just like focus way too much like on the detective stuff. Like I think that's why I say like the first 20 minutes is like all shot like the found footage style, which I love found footage stuff. So like I'm like always, that's always like a point right there for me, like where like because I really enjoy it. So jarring because like they'll be in found footage and then all of a sudden it's like pause and it goes to the detectives and then they'll go back to the found footage, pause. So it just like took me out of it, like any sort of tension whatsoever. And then just like the killer reveal is pretty lackluster. And then we get to the ending and it is downright one of the worst endings I've seen in quite some time. It's up there with A Nun's Curse from a couple years ago as like one of the worst endings I've seen in some time. I understand like, I don't know, like I understand like I guess why like a filmmaker would want to do that, just to do something different, but I just think it is kind of a slap in the face to the viewer when you do an ending like that. So yeah, I cannot recommend this one.
Yeah, I agree. I talked about it like 3 weeks ago, I think, but holy shit, like I didn't even like the first 20 minutes, so I was really not along for the ride. Although like for me, I figured out the twist within the first 5 minutes. I know Joe wasn't the case because he was texting me and he's like he thought he knew where it's going, but I was like oh no, he actually doesn't know where it's going. Although I could definitely see why you thought that, but that's anyway.
Yeah.
It's no, I definitely do not recommend this one. There are way better films out there, and if you're a Tony Todd fan, I mean, shit, watch a trailer of any of his other movies and you'll see him just as much in that trailer than you do in this entire film. So it's really not worth it if you're a Tony Todd fan either.
Yes. And I'm sorry, everyone, I did lie when Tony asked me, and you'll hear it in the interview, but he did ask me what I thought of the movie, and I did say good because I didn't want things to get too awkward and say, oh, no. So.
Yeah, that's always a tough question when we're asked on interviews. Did you like the movie? And we didn't. You know, we're not going to go into this whole thing, but we'll just say, yeah, yeah, we won't.
Yeah.
We're just being polite, really.
Yeah,
No,
right.
this one was definitely not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
Yep.
Get them trivia questions out, peeps. All right. The standings are right now Joe and the lead with 9, Sam second place with 7, myself third with 6, Steve with 5. This is game number 4. Who would like to lead off? I will.
Okay.
All right. Kayla for the win here. Match the quote to the movie. Match the quote to the movie. Let me see if I can do a voice for this one. All right. I wouldn't have got this one either. I just can't take no pleasure in killing. There's just some things you got to do. Don't mean you have to like it. Oh, wait. I know what this character is. Let me try again. Maybe if I can do a voice for you. I just can't take no pleasure in killing. There's just some things you got to do. Don't mean you have to like it.
Okay, I detected a little southern drawl
Okay.
there.
I'm going to quote a
So-
different
Texas
movie.
Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah. I was going to do the, yeah, you're right. I was going to do the Full Metal Jacket rant.
Yeah, it's the sheriff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, I'll go next. So mine is also a match a quote to the movie.
Oh, boy.
New type of question from Kayla. I love it. Sometimes the world of the living gets mixed up with the world of the dead. This could have been a
Poltergeist.
tagline too. I like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Sometimes world living is fixed with-
I said poltergeist. I don't know if you heard me.
I didn't, but no.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go Pet Cemetery.
Sam?
Darren.
World War Z.
Ooh.
Nope. You guys want one more guess, or is that it?
Night of the Living Dead remake.
No.
Insidious.
No. Sam?
That's a good guess. The
But mine was it?
Conjuring.
Okay.
Wrong. So it was actually The Others.
The other. I haven't seen that one in a minute.
Oh,
It's a good one. It's a
Yeah.
good one.
That
We're
movie's
getting
scary.
a new one. We're getting a remake.
Are
That's
we?
right.
we are.
Yeah. We're getting a remake. Yep.
I remember that twist being revealed like awesomely.
Yeah,
It was.
It was a good
Yeah.
twist. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a great twist. All right, I'll go next. All righty. Got a couple of Candyman questions tonight, and then I also have from Kayla a match the quote, but I'll save
Ooh.
that for my last one since you guys both did one. All right, so we all know Tony Todd as the Candyman,
Mhm.
but can you tell me Candyman's actual name?
Daniel Robitaille.
That's correct.
I had it in my chamber this time because.
He had it locked and cocked.
Yeah. All right, Sam.
Righty. These questions come from, you guessed it, Kayla. Alrighty. I'm going to go with match the quote to the movie. Here we go. Meat's meat and a man's got to eat.
Eats meat.
Ooh,
Um.
sounds like something from Texas Chainsaw
It does.
Massacre 2.
Yeah. Hmm.
I guess not.
Actually, that does sound familiar.
Eats meat. A man's got to eat. Is this from
Ooh, I got another. I guess
Hotel Hell?
I have another guess.
Hotel Hell?
Oh, Todd got it.
Oh,
Yay.
All right.
What were we going to guess, Joe?
I was gonna guess Silence of the Lambs.
You know what the frustrating thing is? I was gonna watch Motel Hell instead of the Hitcher, but because we were doing the episode, I'm like,
Oh,
look,
you
I'll watch the
would've got
Hitcher,
it.
and tomorrow I'll watch Motel Hell.
Have you seen it before, Steve?
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm confusing it with something else. So
It's a weird one.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's on Leaving Soon on Tubi, and that always like puts me in panic mode. So
I gotta watch all these.
Yeah, so I got that and like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and a bunch of stuff. That's why I watch all the species. They all leave tonight. So
Oh, they do? I had them on my watch list to rewatch them. I guess I won't.
yeah, but sometimes they renew even if they say that. So all right, Todd, I think it's you.
Okay. Kayla, how many people die in the original John Carpenter's The Fog? How many kills do we have in The Fog?
Is it closest
6.
to or
Sammy
oh
on the money.
yeah?
6.
Ooh, I was going to say 5, but then
I was about to say
Something.
8.
came over me.
All right. Still from Kayla.
Kayla.
What was the original title for The Strangers going to be?
Oh,
Dig deep, Sammer.
you were home.
No.
I was gonna say because you were home.
No.
Because you were home. That's not a reason.
God, I don't. I don't know this one.
Okay, I'll
Is
give
it
you
like a white?
I'll give you a small
The
hint.
neighborhood killer.
It's in reference to the killers in the movie.
Oh.
Baghead killer.
No,
Is this something like we should know? Like it's widely known?
I didn't. So,
The masked killers.
Sam, you want to guess or?
The three killers.
So it was actually
They're at the door.
it was going to be called The Faces.
That's a terrible name. Let's
Yeah.
not go with that one.
That's why I didn't pick it. All right, Joe.
All right. Oh, I thought it was my turn.
Alrighty. All right, Steve might get a little up on this one because he probably heard it during the interview.
Collusion.
But this one's,
Trivia gate.
I think I know the answer before he asked the question.
Oh
so.
boy.
That's
sure
not
he
fair. If he gets it right, me and Sam both get 2 points. So think.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, all right. Well, Steve probably. All right. You know what? I'll just gonna not go with that.
Sabotage.
What was the answer, Leprechaun?
No.
Okay, so I don't know then.
Ask it then.
Okay. Well, you guys all might get this because it is pretty, famous thing.
Is it the 37 stings?
How many
23.
times was Tony Todd?
Don't ask that question.
Yeah, it says 20. Well, he says
37.
He says 23, 25. After 5, who's counting? That's his exact quote in the interview. I just like edited it 2 hours ago. So
Collusion.
All right, we won't go with that one. All right,
Yeah,
let me go with the
collusion.
next one. Okay. All right.
Joe original.
What is the name of the? No, this is a Kayla question. What is the name of the Invisible Man in the 2020 Invisible Man film?
Oh.
Names, forget it.
Bob.
Tony. Mark.
Tyler.
Jack.
Travis.
We're all so bad with names.
Yeah.
Bobby Joe.
Steve.
Roger.
Jason.
No,
Caleb.
Adrian Griffin.
Oh,
Adrian.
crazy, I know.
Adrian.
Don't send us name questions,
All right,
please.
Sam.
Alrighty, ready?
Do it.
Yes.
What was the name of the main character played by Linda Blair in the horror flick Hell Night?
I just fucking watched this.
I watched
last year
that
and I
about a
can't
year ago
remember.
too.
I liked it.
Sandy.
It was cool.
It's pretty good.
Let's go.
It's pretty good.
I don't know.
Who'd you say, Steve?
Sandy, but I'm just taking a wild
Sandy, can't you see?
Linda.
that I'm in misery. No one's gonna come with me and.
I
Sing
wanted
Grease?
to, but I couldn't think of the next lyric.
All right.
Why?
Oh, why you left me? Come on. All right.
Oh, Sam.
Did someone already say Linda?
Yeah, I did.
All right, Blair.
Nope. Everyone guessed, yeah.
Yeah.
The answer was Marty.
Marty McFly. Farty Marty. I was gonna name my son Marty, and then my wife's like, "Yeah, but it'll be nicknamed Farty Marty." I'm like, "Oh,
Oh no.
damn." All right. Okay. Oh, here's a name. Name question.
God.
Okay. What is the last name of the family in Get Out? Get Out.
What is the last name in the family and Get Out?
The Armitages.
Yes. Good job, Joe.
Joseph.
Wow. All right.
Armitage something. Yeah.
Armitage.
I'm glad you can pronounce it because I can't. It sounds right.
Steve original.
Oh.
In Night of the Living Dead remake.
Ooh.
What is the name that's written on the house?
God damn it.
We just watched this
Robinson.
today.
You see it prominently quite a few times.
Stevenson. Milson.
No.
You know, I saw it, but I
Fine.
couldn't read it when I went by it a couple times. And I don't remember.
Todd, you want to venture a guess?
I'm trying to picture it in my mind. It's Uncle Regis' house.
Savini.
No.
I don't think it's Romero. That's too cute.
It's not Romero. You would have noticed if it was Romero too.
Yeah. Damn, I should have taken notes. I stopped taking notes because we haven't watched anything. It would have been too cute. Romero's house.
You guys give up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Celeste for the
Celeste.
M Celeste. So it's from the Mary Celeste, the infamous ghost ship.
I wonder if it's on the back of this Blu-ray.
Mama Celeste. Great one.
It's not.
I remember because I listened to the audio commentary with Tom Savini, and he talked about.
I didn't watch the audio commentary this time, but I have in the past. It's good commentary.
It is, yeah. He gives good insight, and
he does.
Mm-hmm.
Still want that unrated cut?
Oh my god,
I need it.
I do. All right, Joe.
All right, last one. Match the quote to the movie. And I will say, I'll give you a hint before we get started. This has come out within the past 10 years.
Okay. Oh, thank you. All
right.
And narrows it down to 3,000.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Stories hurt. Stories heal. If we repeat them often enough, they become real. They have that power. They make us who we are.
That sounds familiar.
Scary Stories.
Sam, you
Very
got
nice.
it.
Very good, Sam.
I could hear her voice say it.
Very good.
All right, Sam. Last question.
Alrighty. Last question. Who's going to get the point? Alrighty. The town that dreaded sundown is based on the how do you say that?
Texarkana.
Texarkana.
Is based on the Texarkana Moonlight. What did you, Todd?
I said it's a cool town. Been there.
Oh, all right. Based on the Texarkana Moonlight murders that took place in what year?
78.
That would be it'd be 1940. Sorry, 1946 or 1945. One of those. It is. It's right after World War II.
What did you say, Joe?
Sorry.
I said 1956.
And Steve said what?
Wrong. So don't worry about it. I'm thinking of the movie date year. Not
Todd got it. 1946.
Nice.
Thank you. It's a good movie, man. Both of them. Remake's badass though.
Oh yeah, I love the remake.
When we went there, this random old guy came up to us. I'm like, this is probably the fucking Phantom.
Yeah.
He was a little old man. I'm like, I can take him. He's the Phantom killer. Never caught him. Okay, that concludes tonight. Twos across the board, except for Joseph. You got the 1. That brings us Joe still in the lead with 10, Sam 9, myself 8, Steve 7, and concludes
Anyone's game.
4. Anyone's game. Tight race.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. You guys want to do Candyman first? Or Night?
Sure.
Which one do you want to leave?
Candyman's fine.
All right. Straight from the back of the Blu-ray. When Helen Lyle hears about Candyman, a slave spirit with a hook hand who is said to haunt a notorious housing project, she thinks she has new twist for her thesis. Braving the gang-ridden territory to visit the site, Helen arrogantly assumes Candyman can't really exist until he appears, igniting a string of terrifying grisly slayings. But the police don't believe in monsters and charge Helen with the crimes. And the only one who can set her free is Candyman. Yeah, so this one stars Miss Virginia Madsen, who's like a college student. I think she's like an undergrad, right? She's about to graduate. She's sleeping with her professor, who's a creep. Don't like him at all. She's super gorgeous, so she has her friend, and they decide to start doing a thing on urban legends, right? So they hear about Candyman from a local cleaning lady at the college, and they decide to go to Cabrini Greens and explore like the legend and see what's happening. So she goes there, and just crazy shit starts happening. I'll just leave it at that because there's a lot to be discussed about this film. Yeah, I don't know if that's good enough for you guys, and you guys can take over.
Is she sleeping with him, or I thought that was her husband?
That's her husband. Yeah.
Okay, you just made it sound like a little fling. So then when we find out that he's cheating, it's not that serious. That's what you're wanting us to think.
You know what? He's a creeper. Okay, level 1,000 creeper. And he takes advantage of his college students, so fuck him. Balding motherfucker, no offense to anyone who's there, but he's a creep. And the pink room is atrocious. That's a terrible color that she lets paint his house.
A little girl's room.
Yeah, and he's stupid in Walking Dead too.
He gets his comeuppance in Terminator 2, so fuck that guy.
Oh, he's a stepdad.
Todd. Yeah, he is Todd.
His dead parents are dead. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit. And he leaves her in jail too. All right, we'll get to there, I guess. All right, I'll start off. My main issue with this movie, and I'll get to the unlikes later, but she's so naive to go to this place. You know, regardless of your intentions, I feel so uneasy for her going into that situation, and because she doesn't like take anything seriously, and that's why it's hard for me to root for her in the beginning here, because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, if you're gonna explore, at least like, I don't know, do things correctly. And the little boy, he's a lovable little character. And then his ending, it's just like, it starts off wrong with me because I can't root for Helen in this. But I do understand that she needs to get to that point so we can get to where the movie's going. My favorite scene, though, which imprinted me when I was a kid, was when she walks through the tunnel thing, and you have the painting with the face and the mouth open and shit. That is excellent, like, visual.
Oh, Candyman. What to say? This movie came out at an interesting time in horror. It was the end of the slasher era, basically, that ended in the 80s. And, it was kind of a few years of kind of meandering, not knowing what was going to happen. And then Candyman comes along and kind of like revived horror a little bit in the 90s. I forget where this placed in our best of the decade list. Was it number one, or was it?
It wasn't number one, that's
three?
for sure.
Okay,
number one
Scream
was
was one. That's right. Yeah, I think it
Top
was
10
two or
easily.
three. Yeah, easily. A top five, no doubt. So yeah, I mean, I've always like this has always been just a beloved movie for me when I was a kid, because it was a cool slasher movie. Like, Candyman's all scary, he's a slasher and stuff. But then you watch it as an adult and it's even better. Like, because it deals with like a lot of social issues and whatnot, but it's like it does it masterfully. And then you add in the beautiful score. That's just it's its own character in this. The score is just amazing in this. And then the fact that they actually filmed at the actual Cabrini Green projects, which were considered one of the most dangerous places in America. They basically had to pay gangs to not like interfere with the production, which is like amazing. I mean, that takes some balls to like go there and actually film there. Virginia Madsen in this movie, this might be like one of her best roles she's ever done. She's fantastic in this. I mean, this movie is just all about her and Candyman. Like, it's really just like a gothic love story in a lot of ways. I never read I don't know if you guys did, the original Barker thing this is based on. I heard that it was changed quite a bit, so I really can't speak on that. But I know Barker was involved heavily in the production of this one. And to me, this is probably Barker's like best like thing he like movie adaptation anyway. I know Hellraiser is beloved by many, but this one just connects with me more. Yeah, and I have a lot more to say, but I'll let someone else go.
So Candyman. This movie is so good. And I remember I've told this story, I feel like, a lot on the podcast. But the first time I saw this movie was when I was a little kid. I would stay the night over at my friend's house all the time, and they would just play VHS tapes. It was either Candyman or The Leprechaun. And so I would wake up in the middle of the night and Candyman would be playing. And then it's like, it's so dark in the house that let me just pop it back in to restart it so I can use the light from the TV. Just always so terrified of this movie. It still holds up to this day very well, I think. I think the acting's great. I like the story. Candyman is just really, really terrifying, if I'm being honest. One thing I was kind of wondering about is, why was Helen acting like she knew more about the projects than her friend? Like, she just, I don't know. I thought it was, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, she was trying to calm her friend down as if she didn't know anything that was going on in the world. I thought that was
That's my biggest
interesting.
issue, Sam.
It's like, don't be the white
naiveness.
savior, Helen.
Yeah, she's so naive, and she puts herself in the situation and thinks she knows better than more experienced people. And I'm just like, that's my main issue.
Well,
Even my review
I mean,
on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, some would say that is how people are, how white people are. They think that they know. So I guess I could see maybe why they had her be like that. But yeah, I agree with Joe. The score is lovely. I don't really have much to add right now.
All right. So I watched this last summer, right before we did the '90s episode, and I liked it. Obviously, you know, I'd seen it before, and I gave it like a certain score on Letterboxd. So, but two things have changed since I reviewed it, since I watched it last summer. One, I've now seen the rest of the series again. So I watched all the sequels, and of course, Nia DaCosta's Candyman. And two, I started watching a lot of urban explorers on YouTube. And for some reason, a combination of those two things made me appreciate this movie a lot more on this watch than I did last summer. There's a lot to love about this movie. First, like you guys said, the score is so good. Like, it's so haunting, and it sets the mood perfectly for this film, and it's absolutely amazing. But on top of that, the cinematography in this movie is so damn good. And even some shots that a lot of people would kind of overlook, I thought were fantastic. Like, for example, when Helen is walking to like the outdoor bathroom where she eventually gets attacked, just showing Cabrini Green and how bad that area is, with having like Chicago in the backdrop with all the super rich buildings, is just such a interesting contrast that's true to real life, how you could be so close to wealth but yet be so far removed from it. And they played so well in the cinematography, and also bringing in the lore, like Todd said, with the imagery in Candyman's lair and inside the apartments in Cabrini Green. It's just fantastic the way this movie was shot. I like when they go into the overhead shots, above the city and above certain locations. Now we see that a lot, but back then that must have been a huge pain to do. Like, people didn't have drones back then. So seeing that shot is just super impressive. The acting is fantastic. I think throughout, just really, really well acted. Something Joe touched on is how this movie handles social issues. It tackles the social issues head on without doing it like overload. Like some movies, they really try to push the social issues. This one, it's just there, and you notice it, but they do it in a way that's subtle and not in your face. And I really, really like that about this one. That's something I wish Candyman 2021 had done more of, is kind of do the same thing. And it's just interesting with the contrast of the two buildings, how the apartment has the same layout, one in Cabrini Greens, and then Helen's apartment has the exact same layout, but you see how one space can look so differently when you have a different situation on your hand. This movie's fucking fantastic, and I appreciate it a lot more. And what I was saying about the urban exploring, that's how I felt Helen was. She was kind of like a modern, almost like a YouTuber. Like, I see these people all the time go into these dangerous situations and these abandoned places, or these places like this, and they don't care really how badly their life can be in danger for whatever reason, whether it's people or wildlife or building destroying itself. People just do it because their curiosity gets the best of each other. And now people do it for their YouTube channels and for views, where she was doing it to get published. So I totally buy what she's doing, and that's why I mentioned it. And I think that really helped my understanding of her character and my appreciation for this film.
There's something
Well said.
very well said, Steve. There's something like utterly terrifying thinking that there's like a hatch, like a tunnel to another apartment that you can just easily pop off. That's like,
you know what? I'm sure shit like that happens everywhere.
Absolutely.
Without people knowing.
Absolutely.
We're so close. When I lived in an apartment, I remember my neighbor used to yell at us because our shower was next to her bedroom. So if we took a shower past like 11, she'd like bang on the wall. But
we're banging in here.
My room was next to where she kept her answering machine, and I could hear all her messages, and it was fucked up. So I'm sure there are situations where you have access to the building or the room next to you, and who knows what the fuck's going on there.
Yeah. No, that's just like a small touch, but something that's like inherently scary. Tony Todd's not in it a lot, and he comes in late, but he's Tony Todd. What else am I say? He's fucking great in it. Virginia Madsen's awesome. And the kill too with, I'm sorry, is it the doctor, is it a cop, where she's chained up and Candyman fucking annihilates him in the office?
He's kind of a lawyer or something, right?
Is he a social worker or something like that?
Social worker, yeah.
I forget what he was.
Like yeah.
But he gets fucking like totally creamed. It's just like everything. She started the movie with good intentions, and then it's like it's like a Drag Me to Hell. Like it's a good character, and she just gets fucked the entire movie. From her husband to like her fucking career to like being wanted for murder, and then what happens at the end. This is just one of it's like a trifecta of movies that are loved by a lot of people that just don't grab me for whatever reason, and the group is Candyman, Phantasm, and Hellraiser. For whatever reason, those three movies that are like mostly loved by a lot of people don't really do it for me. But this one is like the best of those three, in my opinion. Don't have a lot of things that I can just like pinpoint why I don't like it. It's just like not that I don't like it, why I don't like it as much as a lot of people do. But overall, it's still solid. Just not my favorite, like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, man, yeah, Helen, like that's like this. I think a plot point you don't really see coming either. Like when Candyman finally, well, honestly, the Candyman reveal, like his first time ever, like in the parking garage, is just amazing in and of itself. Like a character, especially in like in the daytime and light, and he's still like
Mhm.
scary in that moment, but kind of like hauntingly beautiful at the same time. Like you can feel like that sort of like pulling like an attraction between Helen and Candyman, which apparently they actually, I was reading this on IMDb, which I never knew about, but apparently they like hypnotized Virginia Madsen a few times during the production, and like it freaked her out. So she's like, let's not do that anymore. So there are a few times that when she was like in a sort of daze, that was like actual like hypnosis that they were putting her under, which I found to be super interesting. But man, like when he like puts her in that situation where she wakes up and like there's just that massacre like with the dog's head and shit, it's like so like you're like what the fuck is going on, like, and it's just so like jarring, and you're like whoa, like I just never saw that coming, like in a million years. And man, I just love that scene so much. And like, and then like man, like then you get to that bonfire scene at the end with like Candyman like holding her and shit. It's just like, man, there's just like so many like memorable scenes like in this entire movie. And yeah, I mean, I fucking love this. And then you get to the ending, and like Helen kind of takes over in that Candy in that Candyman role. It's just like such cool imagery with like the lights flashing, and it's so fucking scary. And yeah, I mean, I love this movie.
Yeah, I did have a few issues with it, uh, but they're pretty nitpicky, if you ask me, and that's why it'll be reflected in my score. Like, it doesn't hurt the movie that much. But Bernadette, that's Helen's friend. God, when she was dead, she looked like a fucking Dawn of the Dead, like original zombie. She was like blue. It was so fucking
Yeah, we
weird.
noticed that.
Like, damn, like fire that makeup artist on that movie. Similarly, I also noticed that when they're trying to sedate Helen, the person putting in the needle, it was so obviously a fake needle that was like bendy, and she completely fucks it up. Like I kept seeing these little things, but that's all nitpicks and nothing too important. But my biggest issue with the film, I think, is that there are times in the film, and I've seen this film probably 3-4 times at this point, where I'm like confused as to the timing, like where is she? Is it a dream? And then maybe that's done on like by design, but if you're a first time watcher, you'll be completely confused as to what the fuck's going on. It's so jarring, some of the edits, like where she's going from one place to completely somewhere else, and then they're like, well, a month has passed, and you're like, what the fuck, like what happened in that month? And so there's some stuff that I think maybe could have been either explained better or paced differently. So that's really my nitpicks with this. But yeah, Tony Todd, man, so good. And boy, does Candyman know how to make an entrance and an exit. Like he's fucking Mission Impossibling from the top of the roof onto her. He's like pushing himself out of a window and coming from under the desk. God, it's so funny, like all the different ways that Candyman just appears out of nowhere. I thought that was really cool. And we gotta talk about the bees. Like that's crazy that Tony Todd did that practically, because there's no way now in 2022 anyone ever do that, and it would look like shit in CGI. But the fact that he sat through there and had him in his mouth and on his face and shit, and
Nicolas Cage did it.
Nicolas Cage did it. Oh yeah, he did. Not
Not the bees. I think they're CGI though.
Yeah, no, they're totally CGI. You can totally tell.
The bees.
Yeah, it's just God. This movie's awesome, and Tony's amazing in it. So.
Yeah, I think my favorite Tony appearance is when he's hovering over Helen when she's in the hospital bed, like tie down or whatever. It's just like so cool. Like him hovering over her. It's just like so creepy. And yeah, and for like, like quote unquote slasher movie, like there's not like a whole hell of a lot of like super violent scenes. Really just that one scene where he takes out the social worker there or whatever. But other than that, there's not much gore in here at all. Like I don't know. Like I feel like I wouldn't even call this like a slasher film. I feel like it's kind of
Supernatural, kind
elevated
of.
above. Yeah, I guess so. Like folklore or
Yeah,
urban
folk.
legends type. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very folky for sure.
Did you guys watch the unrated version or the regular version?
I think just the regular.
Because I noticed a lot more gore this time. It's the first time
Okay.
I was
pulled out
gonna
my
say, I
Blu-ray.
feel like it is pretty gory.
Yeah, there are parts where
Okay.
he's like ripping people from the inside and
Yeah.
up, and like
Yeah.
the way her husband dies.
Yep.
There's the dog. I mean, you don't see
That
it
is
happen,
true.
but
Yeah.
there's
The
a lot of
dog.
blood.
The
Is
the
it's
husband
pretty
death is pretty fucking gory. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just got to mention this just because I don't know, like gratuitous nudity. She's not naked, but did the girl at the end really need to not have a bra and like totally see her her
Yes.
nips through her
Oh,
shirt?
yeah.
Like was that really necessary by the production?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I thought that
There's a
Course
good
it was
commentary on.
necessary.
There's a good commentary on this. I want to
Was
listen to.
there?
It's got Tony Todd, Madsen, Rose, stacked, and it's new with the Scream Factory release. So that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I have the same one, so it's yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Rate it. I'll start first, so you guys can end on a high note. Still a very enjoyable movie with an awesome score. That score just hits hard and it fucking stays there. Tony Todd's amazing. Bridget Madsen's hot as, oh my gosh, beautiful. Good gore and a good story. Just something misses for me, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I love this one. Interestingly enough, actually, we just watched this a couple days ago with friends who aren't really like big horror fans or anything, and they enjoyed it too. So I think this is something even horror fans will even enjoy, or non-horror fans, I mean, will enjoy. But yeah, I mean, I love this movie. It's a classic. I think I've grown to like it even more the older I've gotten. So yeah, I'm giving this a 9.
And I'm right up there with Joe. I'm gonna give it a 9.3.
So this summer I gave it an 8, and on this rewatch I'm giving it a 9.5. Like I don't know what it was, but I really saw the brilliance of it this see-through versus the other one. So yeah, I really loved it this time and really got to appreciate it on a whole different level. Just yeah, it's awesome. So 9.5.
All right, Night of the Living Dead 1990, directed by Tom Savini, who did the makeup effects work on a lot of the Romero's early films. Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. What did he do? No, he did. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, this movie is a remake of 1968 classic by George Romero, and it revolves around a group of people, survivors, trying to hold up in the zombie apocalypse in a farmhouse. They're surrounded by the living dead, and they have a bunch of inner turmoil inside where they're constantly bickering back and forth. So this remake starts off just like the original, where you have Barbara and her brother going to visit their mother who is in the cemetery, pay their respects. Johnny's fucking bitching the entire way. In this one, I'm like, Johnny, just shut up, Johnny, you little prick. Just go there, give your flowers, say rest in peace and leave. You don't have to fucking badger your sister the whole time, Bill Moseley. But anyway, they get there and immediately are attacked by zombies. Johnny is killed right off the bat, broken neck, very good effect. And then Patricia Tallman's character Barbara runs to a farmhouse where she gets attacked by zombies once again. And then our hero Tony Todd, who plays Ben, comes in and saves the day and starts organizing a resistance. They chill out in the house, and eventually people that were hiding in the basement come up. One of them's Cooper. We got Tom. We got what's the girlfriend's name? Mary.
Judy Rose.
What is it? Sorry.
Judy Rose.
Judy Rose, not Mary Rose. Judy Rose. You got Karen, a little girl, and blah blah blah. They immediately start fighting because Cooper's like, let's get back in the cellar. It's safe down there. And Ben's like, no, we're staying up here. And then Barbara's like, why don't we just leave? The zombies walk like 2 miles per hour. We can get around them. Ben's like, no, shut up. And that's where we're at. We're the entire movie. They're either arguing with each other, shooting zombies off, boarding up windows until the climax where they're trying to get away in the truck, and we'll leave it at that. Steve, you go since it's got you into horror.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So yeah, this is the movie I personally credit as the one that like started the spark for my love for horror. So I watched it as a kid with my dad, and it scared the shit out of me because my grandparents' house looked exactly like that, and it had a cemetery at about the same distance. And the thought that I could get attacked by zombies from that cemetery terrified me. And the scene that did me in, and I'll never forget it, I even told Tom Savini this, was so at the beginning of the film, when Johnny and Barbara are going to their mother's grave, there's a picture of their mother on the tombstone. And they deliberately show that picture for a reason, I thought, at the time. And later in the film, when the zombies first start attacking at night, there's a shot of an old lady that turns towards the camera and then turns back towards the house. And I thought for sure that was that their mother at the time. I was a kid, right? And to me, that terrified me as a kid because I thought, shit, she's buried and she's coming out. That means that could happen in real life. So it scared me so bad that I like couldn't sleep in my own bed for like 3 months. But what happens when I'm scared of stuff is I start getting interested in it. And when I became a teen, it was playing on French television at midnight. So I grabbed a VHS and I recorded it, but there were commercials, and I would like pause during the commercials and then like record again so I wouldn't have commercials on my thing. But for the first 5 years of me watching it, it was in French because that was the only version I had. So I knew this movie more in French than I did in English for a long time until I got the VHS in like college. So I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie, and that's going to reflect on my score, because if I'm looking objectively, I think there'd be a different score than how I feel about it, you know, with my nostalgic glasses. But I love this film. I love the isolation. I love the characters. I love the zombies. And I just like these smaller zombie stories. You know, a lot of the zombie films are so big. There's these big, like, you know, world ending explosions and all this stuff. And that's what I liked about George Romero's stories, you know. Dawn of the Dead, you know, a lot of it is just them in the mall, and that's my favorite part of the Dawn, is just them hanging out. And it was like it's like that in this. It's a very intimate story, and that's what I love so much about it. And I have a bunch of notes, but that's basically my overview of the film for me.
Any first time watchers?
Yeah, I think Sam.
Yeah, this was my first time watch. And I told Joe, I was like, I have a horror confession. I don't think I've seen the original. I know, you're gasping. So going into this movie, I was like, all right, well, it's a remake. Although I always end up liking the remakes. I know that the original is very well adored by horror fans everywhere. So I was like, it'll probably be meh, but it also has Tony Todd. So I am interested. And I gotta say, I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. Tony Todd's performance was amazing. Like this is gonna sound really weird, but his performance like almost put me in a trance, if that makes sense. I felt like I was an actor on set watching him act. You know, like you always hear interviews of people saying, like, when you're acting with this person, they're so good that you kind of just freeze and stop and watch them. Like, I only cared about his character. I wanted to see how he was going to handle every situation. And I kind of used like the lens of behind the camera with this one, just because his acting was so good. Like, I really believed him as Ben. I felt like it was so professional and just very smooth, if that makes sense. The character of Barbara, she got on my nerves a little bit, but she comes around eventually. And then, of course, the dad, remind me of his name, Cooper?
Harry Cooper.
Yeah, what a bitch. But yeah, I really liked it. You know, I was surprised at how well the zombies looked, because I figured, I don't know, what was the movie that we reviewed recently where the zombies were blue?
Dawn of the Dead?
Yes. But I really liked it. And going to Steve's point where it's very isolated, like, I know sometimes that can be boring for some viewers, but I really liked that. I mean, even though there's some characters that aren't maybe the smartest, the brightest, you still are interested in finding out what's going to happen to everyone. So I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this one since high school. So this one was like almost a pretty fresh watch to me. I like have big nostalgia though for the cover art of this one, like the original cover art. Like I just remember it like very prominently, like like the VHS. It was just like, yeah, it just like, I love, like, it just stood out to me, like when I would go to the video store and whatnot. So yeah, I was very excited to rewatch this one, and overall, I enjoyed it. Like, I definitely think it's solid. I have like minor issues with it, but yeah, overall, it's a good watch. I like the zombies in this just feel real to me. Like, they're not like over the top or anything like that. Like, I love Savini's makeup work. He does, which I'm assuming Savini did most of the makeup work in this as well as directing it. But just like, like it's very subtle for the most part, but scary at the same time. I mean, Tony Todd is definitely the character you're rooting for in this entire movie. His character Ben is definitely the best. I like Patricia Tallman's character as Barbara as well. I thought she kind of becomes like sort of the badass kind of like a heroine type in this one, which I dug. I didn't love the changes though, as much, which I'm sure we can get into when we get into more in depth. But that would be my biggest problem with the movie. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love this one. Obviously big zombie fan. I'm a big fan of the original. This one takes some issues that I have with the original and improves upon it. One being Barbara is just useless in the original. Absolutely doesn't do anything. So you might not like it, Sam, for that reason. She just literally cries the whole time.
Oh,
But this one, she starts off kind of like Barbara, like he's asking you one question, like answer him, like holy shit.
yeah, just take a deep breath, girl.
Seriously, and she's just like, but no, that she starts off worthless and then becomes totally badass, totally cool. And she turns in like to Ben's right hand woman, so that's a good arc for her. It's just like it's so frustrating, this movie, in a good way, because like Cooper and Ben constantly bickering. It's like, guys, like at some point, Ben, you need to get over your pride and just be quiet. And then Cooper, he's not gonna stop. Let him go in the fucking cellar. Who cares? But they literally have a shootout at the end when there's like everyone's dying around them, zombies are getting in. They fucking decide to shoot at each other over anything else. I'm like, whatever. But the zombies are amazing. And listening to the commentary years ago, it's like you see all these like cool little things they were able to add in this movie, behind the scenes stuff. Like one fun fact is when the car crashes, the manufacturer of that car paid them, right, because it did a good job absorbing that tree. Patricia, when she's running, she steps behind a barrel and there's shoes waiting for her, so she steps in them, and when you know that, you see her stepping into shoes. So like stuff like that. Bill Moseley's great as Johnny. And then him coming back in the end is still freaking cool. He's a little annoying turd though. I do have nitpicks with it, but it's nothing that's gonna like stop it from being a great movie to me. Yeah, Night of the Living Dead remake. It's pretty dope. What are your changes that you didn't like, Joe?
Well, it's like small things. I mean, obviously, like the ending is different a little bit. I feel like Ben, like I don't know, I just feel like Ben's fate in the original was a lot more like impactful, like the way he dies in the original, whereas like in this one, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it just it doesn't hit the same for me. Like I didn't feel like as bad. Like I was like, oh,
Makes more
that's
sense
too bad. But like,
in the remake though, because
yeah, I
George never
guess so.
intended it to be a race movie. Like he just picked the better
Right.
actor, and he happened to be African American. So him dying at the hands of the hunters wasn't like a racial thing, so.
No, yeah. But I think like that was like it more impact. I don't know. Like I kind of liked that it was kind of like that, because like that stuff, like like I kind of liked it was almost turned into like a social commentary in the original. I felt also I didn't love I think they could have did better with the girl, like the little girl in the basement.
Aaron?
She looks far too old in
She
this
does.
one. Which
She's like
just
40.
it doesn't. Right, yeah. It's like they they didn't have the money to like pay a young child actor, so they're like, let's get someone who looks somewhat young but is over 18. So yeah, it didn't hit the same for me as the original did with like so yeah, I mean, other than that, those are like my two main issues with it. Yeah, I mean, but other than that everything else I enjoyed.
There's one line that I hate the delivery on, where Judy's like freaking out and Tom's like, just do what I tell you, and he gives her a kiss, and it's so awkward kiss. I'm like, do they even know each other at all? And then him, who would even think of shooting a fucking gas pump with a shotgun? I hope nobody. Like, let's not do that. Just killing himself and his girlfriend is like.
He doesn't
then,
seem like the brightest
surprise,
person,
Todd.
though.
No, but like you. All right, well.
In a moment of pure panic, I could see people doing it.
Okay. That sucks.
Well, I mean, you'd be like, oh, let me just shoot the lock. I mean, he probably didn't think he
Next
would
to the
hit gas.
gasoline.
I think
Yeah,
Joe
I
would
mean,
do
yeah.
it. I wasn't gonna say it earlier, but when Todd asked if Joe had a gun, I
I
was
would
like,
not
this
do
boy
that.
bites his tongue when just chewing a piece of gum, and he says, "Ow! I just bit my tongue."
Gotta get that thing out of the way. um. Shoot, lost my train of thought. No, someone else.
I got some issues as well with the film. First, I think the zombies act a little too conveniently. They're super slow when they need to be, and then all of a sudden a little faster when they need to be, and it's just like, all right, like some zombies are like right at the door, and it takes them fucking like hours to actually get to the door. Similarly, first the house, they picked the house with the most windows ever, and the zombies were strong when they needed to be, but super weak when they, so there's a lot of kind of, you have to kind of just take it with a grain of salt, the way the zombies were, in my opinion. I find night falls really quickly. Like Ben's like mid conversation, and all of a sudden it goes from day to night, like just like that, So I thought maybe they could have eased into night a little bit better. That's all like little nitpicky things like that I've noticed on a rewatch. There's a lot of stuff I love about it though. I love in the first scene when the old guy is coming and then Johnny's kind of messing with him, because in the original that's the first zombie, but this one they play on it where it's actually the driver of the hearse, and then the first zombie actually comes to attack. So I thought that was a really cool turn. I love that fucking zombie with the autopsy at the beginning too, the one that's actually was in the casket, and the reveal of him like just walking kind of normally, and then his suit coming off because it's cut in the back like real bodies would have. I love that, and all the attention to detail. I mean, Tom Savini and Greg Nicotero, who also I think worked on the film as Tom Savini's assistant, did a really great job, because in the commentary they talk about it. They took each zombie and thought, okay, how did this person die? Like, what situation did this person die? So it makes the zombies more realistic. It just gives them an added layer to them, so he can look at each and say, okay, this one got bit, this one died because it got shot, this one died, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and it's funny. So I actually disagree with Joe with the end. I actually think the end is in a way like more fitting for this one, because it's all about. So the funny thing about the story is that Ben, who's kind of the hero of the story, is also kind of the one that leads to the downfall of everyone, because all his ideas were wrong when you really look at it. He didn't want to go in the basement because he thought that was suicide. If they'd gone to the basement, they would have gotten saved. When Barbara tells him we could just walk past them and we could get help, he's like, no, we got to stay in the house. They could have done that. She did it. They got saved. So when he gets shot and he goes into the basement, it's like, and he sees the gas key on the wall, it's like it's him realizing that he fucked up. He's the one who ultimately led to his own demise. And I kind of like that ending. Now, I think the ending of the original is more powerful for that time, but I think for 1990, this was the better ending. And I also love Barbara in this one. I think, like Todd said, the Barbara in the original is terrible. Like terrible. She is just complete pointless character. She's just there to like cry and moan the whole movie. It's just not interesting at all. So I like that they kind of teased her being the same way, but then totally turned her and made her into a badass. And I really like that turn of events. So yeah, I love this movie.
I also like how Tony or Ben's character is actually like a really good guy too. I know he makes a bunch of bad decisions in hindsight, but in the moment, like he takes the time to comfort Barbara instead of traditionally that character would be like, shut the fuck up, get out of here. He's like, gives her a hug, tries to calm her down, goes to town on those zombies, and he has his outburst in the lawn, which always makes me giggle. Damn you! Yeah, I mean, just I kind of wanted more of the ending too, like with the hunters going around. Like I could have done a little bit more with those guys. That group was interesting. But I like it kind of leads into Dawn of the Dead perfectly, because you had the helicopter and they saw the good old boys that they called in the movie hunting. So it kind of leads, it's nice little segue.
how brutal was it when we see Judy Rose and Tom getting pulled out of the truck and eaten?
Yeah,
Like they're all
all
burnt and
burned.
shit. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Like how to like twist the wound of the audience that just had to see these cool characters die.
Yeah.
That was bad. What were your favorite zombie? Like, what one zombie do you think was the best in this film?
Uncle Reach, man. Uncle Reach is
Uncle
dope.
Reach? Yeah.
Yeah. Plus that actor was a police officer, right? And he had broken his ribs.
Yep.
And he's still doing the stunts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty
cool. Yeah, the one that sticks out to me is the one in the beginning Steve already mentioned, the one with his
The autopsy?
clothes like cut in the back. Yeah, the autopsy one. Yeah, that one was really cool.
Wasn't that the movement coach, Steve? That actor?
Yeah, actually, it actually was. Yeah. What about you, Sam? What was your most memorable zombie?
The one that was hanging in the tree and they were shooting at him and he just jolting.
Right.
I felt bad for them. I have a question. Okay, so this one, Night of the Living Zombies or Night of the Living Dead was first before the other one, or the other one was first?
It goes night, dawn, and day.
Night.
So the original was
day.
68, and then dawn was 78, and then day was 85. So they're connected, but you gotta like forgive the time gap.
Yeah.
Joe told me wrong.
Of course he
didn't.
did. He didn't he question well if it was horror last month? Too?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it's not horror?
I mean, he did say Candyman wasn't gore.
Wait, how did I don't remember. How did I say it was? How did I say it wrong?
Because I thought you said day was before this one. You're like, no, like the zombies are already happening. Because I said, do they know that there's zombies? And you were said, yeah, because of day. And
No,
I
I
said,
didn't say
oh.
that. I don't think I said that.
Defensive. I like it.
And just for the record, my favorite zombie was the one with the doll. She's like,
She's good.
kind of blonde.
Oh yeah.
She's creepy, man. Ugh. And she does this sound like, it's just like, oh man, creepy.
I do like the opening zombie though. He's good too.
Yeah, he is. He's a very
He's
good
got like a
zombie.
slime to him.
He does. Yeah.
But do you think they really ate the mouse?
No.
No.
I think the animal handlers would have been upset about that.
Yep. Right. Rate?
I'm a 9.5 out of 10 on this one.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed this one. But yeah, I'm definitely lower than probably you guys. I don't know if it's maybe a nostalgia factor for you guys or whatever, but
Didn't have any goats in it.
yeah.
That's...
Didn't have any goats. I'm sorry. No, but I did still really enjoy this one. Yeah, I mean, just the issues I had with it knocks it down a little bit for me, but still definitely a good watch. I'm giving it a 7.5.
I'm going to give this one a 9.
And I do have the nostalgia glasses and zombies, so I love zombies. 9.5. Not quite perfect, or at least, a 10, but love it. Like, it's one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. So
Yeah, so many missed opportunities with gore though.
yeah,
And even Tom said they shot it, but it was
Agreed.
cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom, and it's for those who don't know, Tom hates this movie. Like, don't ask him
Oh,
about
really?
this movie. Oh, he hates this movie. Like,
Wow.
he talks about it a lot
What a Grinch.
in Smoke and Mirrors, his documentary. How much he despises this movie for a bunch of reasons. It was just had a bad time in his life and studio issues, and they cut some stuff, and he was just not happy. And he still to this day doesn't like this movie. So
I'm kind of surprised he did the 20-year anniversary then at Frightmare last year. He was like,
Well,
with all
money
the whole
talks,
cast
right?
and everything. Yeah, exactly. True.
I don't think he had beef against the people though. It was more like,
Yeah, right.
but I think it was about, I think he was getting divorced at that time. There was like a whole reason for not liking this movie.
Yeah, this is like really the only movie he directed too, right?
I think he did 2, this and
he might
like
have done a
Children of the
couple
Dead or
too.
some weird fucking.
Children of
Yeah.
the Dead. I think that a female directed that one.
Was it? He did something.
He stars
like,
in that one.
Oh, is that what it? Yeah, no, that's
It's
possible.
garbage though.
I think he's only directed one other thing.
Yeah, I know he directed a couple Creepshow episodes. I think the television series, but
Did he do the makeup, like all of the makeup on this one with
him
him
and-
directing it too?
Him and Greg Nicotero, who's the one who does it on The Walking Dead now. And I think I still think Walking Dead's the best zombies anywhere. So he definitely learned some great shit. He directed a few things, but nothing. The theater, bizarre, and TV shows and
Nope.
stuff.
yeah.
Like, yeah. Dead Time Stories. I think that's the one I was thinking of.
It's
Oh,
Romero
okay.
too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is from.
Never seen it.
Yeah, anthology. It's good. That time
Is it?
series is fun. Yeah, it's a fun one.
All right. So next week we're doing a vote for Valentine's Day. Is that what we were doing?
Yay.
I don't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, we all picked. I think we already all picked.
Bride
yeah,
of
that's right.
Chucky.
Yeah, so Bride of Chucky. Sam, what did you pick?
My pick is going to be Jawbreaker.
Jawbreaker. And Joe?
And I'm picking The Love Witch because I've never seen it before, and I've heard good things.
And I'm picking Return of the Living Dead Part 3.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
One people don't
What's her
talk
name?
about enough, I think.
Smoking hot
Yep.
on that one.
So keep an eye on our social medias, and we'll be posting the poll, or on our Discord as well, of course.
Yeah, for sure. So another Valentine's Day special.
Yep.
Chris
Was
is-
Warm Bodies last year?
Yes.
Got your way?
Yeah, got my way, and people liked it, so I was happy.
Yeah.
It is justice for Steve.
I'm never doing Jersey Shore. Never.
Good show, yeah. All right.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Check out our Discord. It's always a good time over there. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
And stay tuned for Tony Todd.
Well, now you tell me.
Yes.
If you feel like it. Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, where today we are joined by a very special guest. He has been in the industry for over 30 years with over 200 acting credits to his name. Genre fans will know him best for his roles in 1990's Night of the Living Dead, the Final Destination franchise, the Hatchet franchise, and countless other horror films. But you will know him best for his role as the title character in the Candyman franchise. He is a true legend and icon of the horror genre. Please welcome Tony Todd. Tony, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us today.
What's up, guys? How we doing today? What a
Very,
weekend
very-
of divisional playoffs, man. Oh my God.
Ah, who's your
Oh,
team,
my-
Tony?
Well, I followed Brady down to the Bucks, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was a New England fan. That fucking comeback, I said, what the fuck? Is this another Super Bowl moment down in Atlanta? And then to be failed by the offensive line, Jesus Christ. But anyway, all the games were tight, close,
Yeah.
bunch of stars. So
It was, yeah, no, it was amazing. Definitely amazing. So Tony, you're here to talk to us today about one of your newest projects, which is Stoker Hills. So can you tell us how you got involved in that, and also what the movie's about?
Yeah, I got a great manager. We've been together 25 years, Jeff Goldberg. All scripts come to him, and then the ones he likes, he earmarks and sends them to me. That's like how it came to my attention. I was intrigued me was besides the new twist on the found footage, I liked my character because it reflected the way I am in my real life. I've been doing more and more teaching lately, and right after I finished that film, I think I got my first teaching assignment. I've been to like 4 or 5 different colleges so far, and I like that. I want to include that as part of my continuum.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah, well-
touching young minds and letting them
Mhm.
look at me and see me, know my work, and asking me questions that are particular to their drive, to what they want in life.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
So are you teaching acting or other things as well?
Yeah, it's acting based, but it's all about how to
Mhm.
navigate. There's so many acting programs in this country. Almost every major college has one. So let's say on any given year, in most programs about 20 people per class. So let's say but let's say there's 1,000 trained people that arrive in New York, Hollywood, Chicago every year. Okay. Now the reality is that maybe 50 of them have a shot. So it's just how to help them navigate, how to be prepared when the opportunity comes, how to reset and, just be patient enough to wait. A lot of the people I went to school with, I went to Trinity Rep Conservatory, got my master's in theater. A lot of people, and they were very talented people in my class, but most of them gave it 2 years and they gave up. And a lot of them called me once I started doing movies, saying, "Well, how'd you do it?" And I said, "I didn't give up. I love what I do, and it doesn't come with an expiration date on the bottle. You just got to keep readjusting, do your survival gigs, whatever you need to do. If you want it, if you don't want it, walk the fuck away. Okay, that's the first thing I tell them. If you're in this for the wrong reasons, you're in it incorrectly. So,
Right. Yeah. So I heard you mention that the movie is obviously partially found footage, which obviously within the last 20 years has really become quite prevalent. Obviously I would say the Blair Witch Project kind of jump started that back up. So what are your thoughts on the found footage genre in general? And do you have a favorite one?
No, I don't. I mean, I was around and aware of what Blair Witch did when it came out. So I respect film. Yeah, the found footage element didn't have much to do with my character in Sugar Hill, so I didn't pay much attention to it. I just played who the fuck I was, right?
Yeah, sure.
And let the kids take over. So I haven't seen the film yet, so I can't say to you whether it works or doesn't work. I trust the director, I trust the producers, I trust the company, and we'll see.
Sure. Now you get pitched. What was that?
Have you seen it?
Yes, we both. Yeah, we both did. Yep.
And how was it?
It was good. Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Good.
Definitely. Yeah. Now you get pitched, I'm sure, hundreds of horror movies a year. Is there anything specific?
I'm not a horror actor.
Well, right.
Okay. So
absolutely.
Yes, I get some horror scripts and I get some other scripts and I get other opportunities. So
right. So you get yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're just a horror podcast, So I mean, yeah. But you get pitched hundreds of movies a year, I'm sure. So was there anything specifically that attracted you to this project in general?
Yeah, because it reflected one of the things I'm doing in my real life, which is teaching.
Okay.
That was the
right.
That was the thing. Not horror. Okay. He was a college professor, and whatever happens in the film takes off on his own.
Sure. All right, Steve. I know you got some questions for Tony.
I do. One of my favorite films of all time in any genre is the Tom Savini's version of Night of the Living Dead. And I was wondering, what was your approach on taking on the iconic role of Ben that Dwayne Jones had done also so brilliantly in the 60s? And I thought your take was amazing. So how did you approach that role?
Well, Dwayne Jones in 1967 was a very prominent, he was also a college professor, okay? And I remember seeing the original Night of the Living Dead at the drive-in theater and saying, oh my God, look at that. Because I knew I wanted to be an actor. I just wasn't sure financially or economically it was feasible as a Black man in America. And I said, look at him. And he's playing this role. Nobody's calling attention to the fact of what his race is. He's just a man doing a job. So that stuck in my head. And then I was in Pittsburgh when we filmed Forrest Whitaker. And he's the one that brought up to me the fact that they were doing a remake. And strongly suggested it. I said, man, he says he's tomorrow's the day off, Saturday, go over there. And I did. And I ran to Tom Savini and I convinced him that I was the one for the role. And just one time in my career that I ever used chutzpah or just, I knew that I was right for the role. Sometimes you just know it. And sometimes you know it and you don't get it. But in this case, I knew I was going to walk out of there without having that role. And Tom, of course, is the king of gore and makeup wise. And I stepped into the shoes of Mr. Jones, which was fantastic.
Right, it's great. And in the movie, there's a lot of great practical effects. As an actor, do you find that practical helps you a lot more compared to CGI, which a lot of films utilize today?
Practical is much better. I prefer practical. Like when we did Candyman with Bernard Rose, all those are practicals. I mean, it's just an audience member isn't stupid. They can see what a CGI looks like. When we did Candyman, we had real bees. Okay, in the first one, real bees. Couldn't mistake them. Yeah, and you can't do that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, which you were stung 27 times, I think, is the going. 23 times, yeah.
25. After the first 5, what does it matter?
right. Totally. So I wanted to touch a little bit on the newest Candyman, which I just thought was fantastic. Did you feel? Yeah. Did you feel like this was sort of a passing of the torch to your character, or do you think that you'll return?
I don't. I think no. I know things that you don't know, so no, it's not a passing. Okay. Well, the tagline in this new movie is Candyman's not a he, he's the whole damn hive. that doesn't mean the original he is going away, does it? I mean, I'm just
No.
Right.
No, I mean, obviously the fans definitely do not want to see you go away. So I mean, we definitely want to see that character.
Yeah, I wish I was able to do more in the production, but I was
Sure.
shooting in South Africa. Jordan called me, explained what the situation was, and if it's successful, which it was, I
Yeah.
think that'll open the door to new worlds.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
Dia DaCosta is a woman, is an African American woman taking the helm.
Yep.
So proud of her. Okay, and that job led to her doing Miss Marvel. So you do a good job, and this is what I tell my students: you show up, don't fuck up, don't drink too much the night before, don't get high. Show up, right, and give your best, and they will call you back and back and back and back.
Yep. No, definitely. So how did it feel like putting on that costume again? Because it had been a while. I mean, obviously, I know you do it at horror conventions and whatnot, but I mean, this was putting it on back again, for the character and for the movie.
Yeah, it was, dude. I've been carrying this character around for 30 years at different
Right.
conventions, keeping him alive. Then in the last 3 years, we started doing photo ops and stuff, keeping him alive. And finally, somebody listened. Jordan had his opportunity. Universal opened up their books and said you could choose any of our stuff to do. Right? And he went to Candyman. There's a very specific reason he did that. There's a private reason, which I won't reveal here, but he just was, it was his driving force to the horror universe. So.
Now, I know after the third Candyman, obviously the franchise kind of went away. And I know, I'm sure you were pitched a lot of different ideas and whatnot, and I'm sure there were some that came close. Was there one in particular, maybe, that was really close, or an idea that you really liked that just didn't get off the ground?
My idea was to transpose him to New England. I wanted him to be a college professor at an all-girls school with snowstorms, looking around his coat. That was all I had. One of the studios proposed Candyman Leprechaun thing, and I turned that down like in a day. But here he is now, and it's a fine line I have to juggle because I don't want to just one single role. And those people that know me from the theater, they know that that's my first love. So you don't want to do too much, but if we do another Candyman in its current state, of course I'd participate. They pay very well.
Yeah.
And then the fans, more importantly, the fans love it.
Yes.
And I don't think I haven't been to a con. I'm trying to think, I've been to a con since it came out. I did Texas Frightmare last year. Was that before or after? It was before.
You did Rhode Island Comic Con, which was after, because I met you there.
Comic-Con. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was finally to let me in Rhode Island Comic Con. That's where I went to school.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was great to meet you there.
Thank you,
so, yeah, of course. I got to ask about Leprechaun versus Candyman, because you just brought it up. I just think that is a preposterous idea for that character. Like, when the studio pitched that to you, like, did they give you a script, or was it just a pitch?
No, there was no script. It was just an idea. Yeah. I think Freddie and Jason were in development. They were just trying to normalize it. But I love this character. I don't want to cheapen him. And all due respect to Warwick, I just felt those two characters came from two different worlds, and it didn't make any sense. It was like using a shoehorn when a woman's got a size 14 foot, because she was insist on wearing a 9. Okay, it's not the shoehorn, darling.
Yeah, well, I think I can say for all horror fans, like, we are very glad that did not take to happen.
No, I appreciate it. I love the horror fans. You guys are very specific, and your dedication and admiration is palpable. And speaking for all people that may have been in a horror film, and I know a lot of them, we appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you, Tony. Just a couple more for you before we let you go. Another franchise that you were very prevalent in is obviously the Final Destination franchise, which they had just announced recently will be they'll be getting a sort of reboot of some
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah.
Have they reached out to you at all, or can you say
Well,
possibly if you might return?
no reason to reach out to me. I mean, it's part of public lore. I'm not worried about it. If they do it, either they'll use me or they don't. You know, they'll use me or they don't.
Okay.
Or do I
And
look like I'm worried though?
no, definitely not. But we as fans would love to see you back in that franchise. We hope to see you.
If they do the right thing, they'll have me back. Ask Jeffrey Reddick. I don't know. That's what's his face? And okay, never mind.
All right, no problem. And my final question, just a fun one. So obviously you've been in countless movies, and I'm sure throughout the years, certain things may have left the studio and whatnot with you. Is there like a favorite item or prop that you own from any of your movies?
I have a lot of souvenirs. The very first film I did, Platoon, I have my original staff for that movie. And I have a lot of Star Trek memorabilia.
Very awesome. We won't tell.
Okay. And I had the original Candyman coat, but through machinations and stuff, it disappeared mysteriously from the storage unit I was had it in. So somewhere out there is a guy walking around with a Candyman coat. Or a girl.
Oof. All right. Well, Tony, I gotta say it's been just like an absolute pleasure and honor to have you on today.
Thank you talking to me. It was great seeing you at Rhode Island Comic Con for the first time. That's fantastic.
Of course. But before we let you go, is there anything? I mean, obviously, everyone go and check out Stoker Hills. But is there anything else you got coming up in the works, or anything else you'd like to promote?
Nothing that I can announce other than playing Venom in the new Spider-Man game.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. But there's a bunch of stuff that's brewing. So we'll see. By the end of the day, I should have some more news. And anybody wants to follow me at Tony Todd 54 on Twitter.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're all very excited. I'm sure you got some big stuff coming up, so we cannot wait.
Huge stuff.
I'm sure, and we're all very excited for it.
Thank you very much, Tony.
That was amazing, Tony.
It was amazing.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure. Have a good one.
It was a pleasure. Have a good one.
Guys. Thank you.